everybody. What's going on? It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday, and fucking you guys are happy that it's Friday. Probably getting off of work, riding home. I know that there's about 10 of you in there that were just watching, waiting for that damn intro to come in. I do that too sometimes. The people that I watch and fucking, oh, here it comes, here they come. They got the little music going. Here they come. Yeah. One of them that I listen to is fucking dude, just is a couple of military guys, and they're just playing music, and then you hear like fucking radio chatter, infantry radio chatter. You know, everybody report to your duty stations, all kinds of weird shit, and it just sounds like fucking like you're back in the army, and then they show up, and they count down for like fucking 15 minutes. So sometimes I'll jump in at minute 8 and just let it play. Looking at the tablet and shit.
I'm too impatient to do that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like the warm up.
I'm just like, if you're not on right now, I'm gonna go watch something else. Bye.
Yeah.
Remember last week we actually, it doesn't really seem like a week ago, but last week I forgot to play the intro because I went ahead and streamed.
Yeah, we were just sitting there.
Well, we were just sitting there farting around, and we were saying how lucky it was that we weren't doing anything embarrassing.
Yeah. Got all kinds of shit done this week. Repainted my Lightning. Painted it matte black. Just good
That's
rattle
a motorcycle,
can.
by the way.
Yeah. Just a rattle can. It was already black. I just had to do some touch up. Just did some spray touch up on it. Bought a chainsaw. It's already cutting the tree down up front, trimming it. That thing had never been trimmed. It's been there for 16 years.
Yeah, it like hangs over the driveway. So every time I pull into the driveway, the top of the tree goes whoosh.
This house has been here for 16 years. I'm looking at that tree, and it says that tree is older than 16 years. That must have been here when this was a cow pasture.
Yeah, I imagine it probably was.
So I'm trying to trim that huge tree up, and fucking each log, I got to get down there, cut it in 3-foot sections so our lawn disposal, our branch disposal crew will be able to pick it up. But what it is, I bought for the first time, I bought a electric chainsaw, and that fucker works. It's a Cobalt electric chainsaw. It's the same one for my electric weed eater. It comes with a big fucking battery pack and charger. And it's a lot easier than dealing with gas. I know you guys remember dealing with the gas and fucking mixing 2-stroke oil into the gasoline and everything. It's a lot easier than that. I don't think I would use it for industrial work, but around the house, man, that's fucking come in handy. It's just the way to go.
Didn't you plant a peach tree last night?
Yeah, planted a peach tree. Bought a peach tree for fucking $60 down at Lowe's. Put that on the Lowe's card. It was the last one. Dude bought 4 or 5 of them. And he was loading them up on his cart, and he was going, "You want one of these?" And I went, "Yeah, I just want one." He goes, "You can have the last one." I said, "All right, thanks." And he goes, "I bought 3 last year." He goes, They made a lot of peaches.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're gonna be having some cobbler and stuff like that soon.
Yeah. That's a 2-year-old tree.
I'm not really sure how long they take to...
It had peaches on it when I bought it.
Yeah.
They're small, though.
Well, you said they were little.
Yeah, they fell off when I put them in there, though.
Oh, well.
They fell. It didn't matter. I had to load it in the car, fucking peaches falling off of it and shit. Popped the trunk and fucking put it in through the back seat, and went into the fucking passenger seat, fucking peaches falling off. All the fucking dirt coming out of the bucket going into the trunk. I was gotta get it when I get there, because I couldn't stand it up. I didn't have a truck,
Right.
But, somebody sent us money.
Thank you, Jeffy Art. Today I drove by the Boca Town Center Mall. If you weren't here on Wednesday, we did a show about some murders that took place there back in the 2000s.
Yeah.
On my way home, I was considering living dangerously by walking into the Container Store. Yeah, you're going to walk in there and, come out with $300 worth of stuff. I need all of this Tupperware, I need all these containers.
Yeah.
I'm going to put all my things in containers.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's a whole entire store, a whole entire chain of stores that just sells that kind of stuff. But, everybody needs containers, I guess. Zach also said, I saw this up here. He was talking about this the other day, and I don't think I got around to it. Guys, I think I need help. I still have BG songs stuck in my head, and I think I have a crush on Robin now. Kill me.
Who said this?
Robin Gibb. Zach did.
Yeah, Zach, Bee Gees is all you, bro. Those dudes knew how to write lyrics. Okay? They knew how to write some serious
I
lyrics.
unironically like the Bee Gees.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
So don't feel bad.
They're dated. It's disco.
Sure.
It's of the era. But there's high quality, man. Very high quality music.
I like it more now than I did at the time.
Yeah. Well, it was overplayed when we were kids. You just
That's what I mean. When it's kind of like divorced from its cultural context and you're not hearing it all the time.
Yeah, and seeing the fans.
Right, that's true.
Hairy motherfuckers. With their shirts open.
The gold chains.
Yeah.
The big fucking collar.
Yeah. They were a little bit, they were like your parents' age.
And the shirts were kind of like shimmery.
Yeah, like satin, fake rayon satin looking shit. It's pretty cheesy. Yeah, and they thought they were real cool.
Yeah, well, you know.
Run around spreading STDs. Jenny thinks that shit's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's probably
what
kind
they
of
were
true.
doing, yeah.
It's kind of true.
Syphilis packing motherfuckers.
With their disco.
Fucking disco dick.
They're...
Fucking drip dicks and shit. Fucking all hairy. Non-shaven bitches. Dingleberries and stuff. Nasty underwear wearing motherfuckers. Skid marks and shit. Old
Wow,
70s motherfuckers.
Right? They probably
No,
also...
they were bad.
They also probably smelled like cigarette smoke.
They'd tell you that shit was all natural. Yeah, it's like in nature, man.
I would also like to add, too, that it's like cancer is also natural.
Yeah.
So, you know. Just because something's natural doesn't mean it's
Doesn't
good.
mean it's good, yeah.
American Military 100 said, The Pope's Exorcist was fucking awful.
Is it?
Every demonic possession horror trope in the book and not the least bit disturbing or suspenseful.
Okay.
Like I said, that one was kind of like low down on the totem pole. I really wanted to see Renfield, and everybody's talking.
That looked good.
Yeah, that looked really hilarious. And also, everybody's talking about how good the new Evil Dead movie is.
Okay.
Although I didn't even see the last one that they did, because I was just kind of like, man, I'll stick with the original one. But you know, if it's really good, I'll give it a shot.
See your buddy saying.
Camp Guy said dig a $100 hole to plant a $40 plant. Yeah. Yeah, and Danny Rowling just asked about, is Jenny and Tom going to the movies to see Evil Dead Rise to review? I mean, we might, but we'll probably, I mean, to be honest, knowing us, we'll probably just wait until it comes out on streaming and watch it. But that's the thing, like, we're not going out tonight, so we're not in any particular rush.
We're broke, man.
Which a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we're broke.
I mean, we have been going out like pretty much every weekend, and so yeah. Probably.
Jenny's been working herself to the fucking bone.
Yeah,
she work all fucking day and then come home and then work more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm worn out.
Doing stuff because she's got other clients.
Yeah, because I got a regular job and the 2-hour commute, and then I come home and I have like a bunch of freelance stuff I have to do.
Yeah, and then
I have some freelance stuff I have to do this weekend too.
And then she preps for the show.
That too.
Yeah.
I've tried to do that, like, that's why I kind of, like, in the polls and stuff, if you notice, like, I don't know if anybody would notice but me, but I try to put topics that aren't quite as complicated, because, you know, like, back in the old days, hi, Pokey, what you doing? I would put stuff like, you know, 5 serial killers you probably, and now I'm just like, oh my god, that makes me tired just, like, thinking about it. So I try to keep with more simple things, just so the show isn't super long, because, you know, I have to go to sleep and like get up the next morning, like early the next morning, but also so I have time, because really the poll only closes on Sunday, and then we have to do the haunting show on Monday, so I have to like take notes for that and all that kind of stuff. So I really only have like a day or two to like research the Wednesday show. What I try to do is I try to do like all the notes on Sunday after the polls close, and then I print them out and then I take them to work with me, and then I'll read them on my lunch hour, and then like if there's documentaries about the shit, like about whatever the topic is, like I'll watch those on my lunch hour, or sometimes if there's podcasts about it, like I'll listen to them like in the car, like on the way home. So I feel like I'm not wasting time.
Yeah.
Because I really do hate that hour-long commute, you know what I mean? In the morning, it's not too bad because I'm like barely awake.
Wasting 2 hours of the day. Just
right, and it's just like, so I'm like, if I'm listening to something like research for the show, then I feel like I'm not wasting that hour just like sitting in the damn car. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You gotta keep looking for something closer.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're probably pissing away $300 a month just in gas.
Well, not probably. I am pissing away $300.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's better than before when I didn't have any money. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, it's good to have, like, money coming in every week, but it's still, you know, it's still, like, a lot to get there, especially because my car is so old.
Yeah.
Zach said, I'm actually way more into their late 60s, early 70s non-disco music. It's actually really pretty and emotional sounding.
I've
heard some of it, yeah. I kind of feel like they are probably better known for their disco stuff, but I have it, like, the guy plays it at work sometimes. Like, sometimes he'll go off on a disco playlist with, like, Bee Gees and ABBA and stuff like that on it, which is fine with me. That's
Even Blondie disco is pretty good.
Yeah, I think there was some Blondie in there, too.
Yeah.
Like Heart of Glass and stuff.
Yeah. There was a couple of songs that they had that were pretty disco.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like at the time, you know, I was a kid, and my dad was more, he liked some disco. Like, he had some disco records, but it wasn't really his main genre. You know, he was more of like a Beatles and Southern rock kind of dude, but he did like some disco. So we had some of that. He had like some Earth, Wind, and Fire and stuff too. But I didn't like it at the time because, you know, I was just a kid. I was, you know, like a preteen or whatever, and I was just getting into new wave. So I was kind of like, you know, new wave was like way cooler than that
disco
old
was
people
super
music.
mainstream.
Right.
Super mainstream. I mean, running right alongside disco was country western. In California. California had a huge country western scene. Red, my uncle from Mammoth Mountain, was part of that country western scene of that era.
Yeah, he played
guitar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Victor.
What do you say?
Jenny's new car fund.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
I mean, you know, knock wood or knock laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that car that I have
Yeah.
it's old. It's a 2004, but she's been very reliable.
Yeah, and I can't buy her car and put it on my name until we get her credit cards wrapped up. That's going to take a while. We're going to see.
We'll see how it goes.
That way her credit card overheads per month are not that bad. She can help me with the car. Because we're going to have to go half on it.
Well, yeah, because you can use it too.
Well, I only use it to get us to and from the club and fucking go shopping and shit.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, because it's not here during the...
It's not here during the day.
During the day.
I got the bikes and shit.
Yeah, usually just like ride your motorcycles. Yeah. But, let's see. Slasher Fred said, did you know that the Army of Darkness March of the Dead instrumental song was composed by Danny Elfman? I did actually know that.
Yeah, he composed a lot of stuff.
Matter of fact,
he did a lot of movie stuff.
Well, and the thing about Danny Elfman is that you can always pretty much immediately tell that it's him.
Yeah.
Like, he has a very distinctive style.
When Oingo Boingo came out, I loved it. I was in military school at the time.
I've got some Oingo Boingo stuff on my Spotify playlist.
I had Only a Lad. I had Nothing to Fear.
I think I've got No One Lives Forever on my playlist and like some other ones. I think I might have Only a Lad on there too. I don't know. I have like millions of songs on there.
I think he had an EP before that, but I didn't have it.
Dave is here. Hello, you two. Hey, Dave, what's up? We're actually not going to Mannequins tonight. So
I'm not going.
We're not going. I came home and I was just kind of like, well, because I didn't talk to you today, and I was just kind of like, wait, are we going? Because I have to know, because I have to start over with the makeup.
You need to sleep.
No shit, I do.
Yeah. If we were to go out, it'd be better tomorrow.
Yeah, and if we go tomorrow, I think I'd rather go to Barbarella, because
Yeah.
Barbarella is funner on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Saturdays at Mannequins is a little douchier than Fridays.
And it's more chilled. Barbarella's.
Yeah.
It might be cheaper. Because they don't care if you bring your own alcohol, actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing about it. So it's in the warehouse district, so people just park out. They just have little campouts in the parking lot. They're out there. They bring their own booze. They bring weed. Yeah. They're just out there, and then they'll pop in and out, you know. Well, because Barbarella only has, you know, the mixed drink things, like in the cans and whatnot.
Can of drinks.
So
they don't have a liquor license.
Right. Or he does, but he can't use it in that place for some reason. Like there's
it's
some
not
kind
zoned
of
for it or something.
Yeah, it's like
or it has to have full service amenities or something about it.
Yeah, like he said something about it, but I can't remember exactly what all the details were. It's like some kind of legal loophole.
Yeah.
Because he does have, I think, if you have a liquor license in Orlando, they're super, super expensive, like, to get one. And they only have so many. Like, there's, like, a lottery. I don't know if it's that way still, but that's the way it was for a really long time.
They priced them out on purpose because, like, the mayor's son got killed by a drunk driver. This is, like, decades ago. And then they raised it up to, like, $500,000 for a fucking liquor license inside Orlando. And then it became a bunch of gangsters got involved with buying those things and then renting them out, leasing them out to people. So the same people that banned them also made a shit ton of money off of basically banning them. It's all crooked.
It's weird because, you know, before I moved out of Daytona, they were trying to push out the tattoo parlors.
Yeah. Weird.
Too, like, because they thought it was like degenerate people hanging out.
Yeah.
It's like, this was before everybody had tattoos.
Yeah. Weird.
And so they were trying to like keep them from opening up like within city limits and stuff like that. I'm like, that is the stupidest shit ever. I'm like, this is like biker central.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you?
The people that wanted that to happen are dead now.
Yeah, they probably
They're all dead now. Those people were like old boomers. Boomers that didn't, boomers that died fucking 10, 15 years ago.
It's hilarious to me how quickly the shit changed, because I think I've mentioned before, like when I got my first tattoo, I don't even remember when it was, 90s, early 90s, something like that. It was still like not a lot of people had them, you know what I mean, other than, bikers and shit like that. And a lot of girls didn't have them.
Yeah.
So it was still kind of considered like, kind of edgy or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's like everybody has. You see like some Karen mom like in the fucking grocery store and she's got a fucking neck tattoo. You know what I mean? Everybody's got them.
They got a girl that I follow. She plays guitar and does artwork. And basically her whole body is just blue with a bunch of patterns in it. She's got long dreadlocks. Her fucking tongue is split like a forked tongue and big fucking hoops in her stretched out in her ears. And she's gorgeous. She's like a supermodel looking, real talented looking. It's like one of the best tattoo jobs I've seen. Only her face isn't tattooed.
Yeah.
But she looks great. Here, I'll show it to you. She looks great. And I think she designed her own tattoos. It looks like her artwork. She looks like something out of damn Avatar. She just looks blue to me with a bunch of patterns.
See, that's cool though.
On it. Yeah, it looks well done. I'll show you guys. I found her.
But it's just funny how much has changed, like, in that brief amount of time. John Smith said, when I was a kid, the only people that had tattoos were tough guys, sailors, and circus freaks.
Yeah.
Military pretty much, and military guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why my shit sucks so much, man. We used to do that shit in the barracks and stuff. Only military guys and convicts fucking had fucking tattoos, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, everybody's got them.
Even her eyes are tattooed.
Yeah, see, that looks amazing, I think. Yeah. Her hair's awesome, too.
Yeah.
I kind of want to dread my hair, like, just so I don't have to fuck with
I'll
it.
show you guys. It should replay. That's her.
Yeah, see, that's super cool. That's a cool look.
Yeah, and it's just her whole body's just like a blue pattern, blue and gray, and her the whites of her eyes are tattooed blue. But as far as tattooed woman, fully tattooed, that's the best one I know of.
Well, like I said, because it looks like it was a whole aesthetic choice. It all goes together. And it's like obviously like a look, you know what I mean? Because I think what happens a lot of times is like sometimes you get a tattoo and then you get another one and then you get another one and they don't really go together. Yeah. So I kind of feel like, that sucks because, you can't afford to do your whole fucking body at once because they're not cheap, but you know what I mean?
Hold on, here's one.
I was you know what I always wanted? I always wanted a back tattoo, but I wanted,
look at her eyes.
Yeah. But I wanted, like something to do with like Mask of the Red Death, the Edgar Allan Poe story. And I was actually farting around with the AI art program the other day that I use. And I put in Mask of the Red Death Art Nouveau. And it came out with this amazing fucking artwork. It came out with like 4 or 5 different ones. I don't even know if I could pick, but I was like, holy shit. If I could fucking afford that for a tattoo on my back, that would be super awesome.
But if you guys want to see more of this girl, she's on Instagram. Her name is Jack Nola, JAK_NOLA. NOLA, yeah. Jack Nola.
Gramthars says, now high school kids have tats of skulls with fire coming out of the eye sockets on their necks. Yeah, it's not even... people don't even really look at you funny anymore. Like I said, back in the old days they did, but shit, there's like that girl that works at Circle K that we stopped. She's got like facial piercings and tattoos and everything like that. And it's like when I was growing up, they wouldn't let you, like if you got tattoos or facial piercings, you'll never get a job. You know?
Yeah, shit changed so quickly.
It did.
All it takes is
I'm glad, though.
All it takes is for a generation to die out or get out of power, and it just instantly can change.
Then they finally shut up and stop telling everybody else what to do.
Some of the shit that's changed isn't totally all that cool. I mean, I think in certain areas, fucking just civilization is just fucking falling apart. But and it's definitely real. You look at what's happening in the West, and it does look like something out of ancient history. Instead of the Vandals and the fucking Goths attacking, it's all the fucking country people, or whatever, fucking blue versus red shit, which that was going on in Rome too. Everything is just all these old parallels. But I don't know. It's just we're in a weird time. Some shit is not good. Like I talk a lot to Sophie about dating. She's dating all these different guys and how different her generation, because she's I think Gen Z, right? She just turned 30. So, no, millennial. I think she's a late Gen Z or early. How different dating was for them. It was not as good as it was for us. We kind of had it made. It was all face to face. They're doing it all online, and they don't have any social skills. And they fuck each other over real easily because they just see each other as data. And,
the thing about that is like that's horses have already left the barn. You're not putting that back in the bottle. You know what I mean?
I didn't make that claim.
No, I'm just saying that they grew up like that, so that's just what they're used. The whole entire culture is different than it was when we were younger.
Yeah. I think ours was better. They say it was better too. That's why a lot of them have a nostalgia for an era they never lived in. All the 80s stuff that is kind of coming back. And
that was like the last analog generation, and it had some crossover with early internet too.
And then there's a big movement online, the online dating coaches that were telling everybody to use these apps, are throwing those apps down and still making videos saying don't use them, that they feel better without them, that the depression went away. They're meeting people where they call it meeting people in the wild, which is more naturalistic. They're just meeting them in clubs the way we used to meet them,
John Smith says, I'm Gen X, the forgotten about generation. Yeah, so are we. I was born in 72. So, people do kind of forget about us, but that's okay. I mean, that tracks. We're just like,
there weren't
whatever.
as many of us.
Yeah, I think maybe it was like slightly smaller. And we didn't really...
We got shut out of power because the baby boomers stayed in for so long.
Right.
And they wouldn't give up any fucking power or any money. So we never could take their places.
Right.
And then by the time they started to falter, whatever positions they had vanished. They don't exist anymore.
Right.
So you can't take over for them. They're what they were doing is gone.
So we just kind of got stuck in the middle. Oh well. That's just kind of like par for the course, I feel like. Yeah. Because Gen X was it's a cliche to say we were all just like, yeah, whatever, but it's like, there is some truth to that stereotype. Victor says the boomers fucked this country. Yeah, they did. Yep.
Selfish bitches.
Well, they didn't give a
shit.
Gramthars
said you actually knew how to fucking flirt and be nice back in our days. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know about being nice because I had people be mean to me back then too. But
you didn't go out with them though.
No.
No, to date you had to flirt and be nice. Yeah, you're right, Granthers.
Louis says tattoos were never a big deal in my community. I remember my friends getting tattoos in junior high school in the early '90s. Holy shit, yeah. Ben says, "Thank you, Ben." Leviticus 19:28. It's talking about the no tattoo thing that's in the Bible. You shall not make any gashes in your flesh for the dead, or tattoo any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Just reminding you, I'm the Lord. Don't do that shit.
That's Old Testament, though.
Yeah.
That's Jewish law. That doesn't have anything to do with Christianity.
Well, to me, it doesn't have anything to do with anything because it's like I'm not doing what the fuck that says in there.
Well, I'm just saying, if he's doing Bible quotes to fucking say that it's anti-Christian to get a tattoo, it's not anti-Christian. Christians had tattoos. Romans had tattoos. And a lot of the early Christians were Roman slaves. They had tattoos.
Nothing in the Bible about nipple piercing, though.
No.
Well, I don't think it might be something in there. I don't really know. Let's see. Celtic Angel 73 says, "Hi everyone. Jenny, I'm so glad you're enjoying Bates Motel. I knew you would. Vera Farmiga is fabulous in it. Yes, she is. She's fabulous in everything. I like her. And Freddie Highmore is wonderful too. Yeah, I just got to. I think it was the end of episode 12. I want to say it was episode 12. The one with the one where the teacher got murdered." Yeah. The one where the teacher got murdered, like the one after like the dance or whatever.
I'm having a problem tracking it. I kind of lose interest in it as I'm watching it, but people are telling me to stick with it. That in the other seasons,
I think it's really good. I'm really into it.
It's good. It's just I don't know. It started to lose me.
Yeah. Gramthars says, "Holy cow! Someone's quoting scripture on the site, right?"
Yeah.
I mean, Danny Rolling asks, "What's our opinion about Knight Rider from the '80s?"
The movie Knight Rider?
No, the TV show.
Oh, with the car kit?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
I watched it a couple of times, I think. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, a talking car. But I don't think I really got super into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm trying to think of, like, the stuff I was watching in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked... What did I like in the 80s? I liked The Facts of Life and...
Knight Rider kind of was, for me, like, on par up there with, like, T.J. Hooker. It it seemed just kind of like a cheap, kind of generic...
The Shat was in that, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't Heather Locklear in that?
I think she was, too, yeah.
Heather Locklear was in that. I'm pretty sure.
They were just kind of the television series that were being made in California at that time. They were just, I don't know. Kind of like Chips. Chips was actually more watchable, though, than shit like T.J. Hooker.
I mean, I ended up... Well, because we didn't have the internet back then, so it's like when I was a little kid, you kind of just ended up watching whatever was on.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes, I would watch Chips or Dukes of Hazzard or something like that.
Dukes of Hazzard was almost unwatchable to me.
Yeah.
For some reason. That was another one that I would quickly lose interest in it.
Them Duke boys.
Yeah, it was just like, what? It was very light on substance.
I would have thought that you would have really liked that. That it would have been right up your alley.
No, I didn't really like that one. I liked Battlestar Galactica.
I kind of liked Battlestar Galactica too. They're talking, don't hassle the Hoff. David Hasselhoff ended communism. Yeah. I still remember that fucking thing where he was on the Berlin Wall with that fucking scarf on. That shit was so funny.
Yeah, he ended communism.
Look at David
Evidently
Hasselhoff.
in Germany, he's fucking huge.
I mean, I've always heard that. I don't know if that's true.
And it had something to do with, I think for that generation, it had something to do with him being on the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And that he got associated with the fall of the Berlin Wall and fucking, the end of fucking East Germany.
He's a hero.
Yeah.
Now I kind of wonder. I always want to go to like Germany and ask them like, so are you guys really super into David Hasselhoff? Well, because I'm always really interested in like all of these weird perceptions that people have of other countries. Because I'm sure that because I watch a couple of channels of like that are Brits, and they talk about misconceptions they had about the United States like before they came here and stuff like that. And I always find all that kind of stuff really interesting.
My understanding about Hoff is that is that. He's a German American, and he could speak German, from what I understand. And
wait, could he?
I think he could because
I didn't know that.
He could. I think he was doing stuff in Germany, like making appearances and being on talk shows and shit. I think he could speak German.
Maybe that's why they liked him so much. They're like, wow, an American that actually.
If I remember
correctly,
I think he could. I might be wrong, but I remember that
now I'm gonna
he
have
was
to look
doing
up his
shows
Wikipedia
over there.
page.
But that was like a long time ago.
Right.
I don't think anybody now from Germany would probably give a shit about David Hasselhoff.
That's what I'm thinking. I think that was like a while back. Zach says,
and I think it had more to do with Baywatch and Pam Anderson and shit like that. Because wasn't he in that?
Yeah, he was in Baywatch.
I know Pam Anderson was real popular in Germany. Germany has big tit fetish. They like that. They like that.
I feel like they kind of do in the UK.
Yeah, they like that. Yeah, Germany and UK, yeah. So Pam Anderson evidently during her time she was like admired in Germany. A lot of German girls were getting that barbed wire tattoo around the fucking arm that she had. Remember how she had that?
Yeah.
Was it around her arm? I think.
Was that real or did she just get that for the movie?
I think it was real.
I don't
I
remember.
think she actually had that tattoo. Tommy Lee had a shit ton of tattoos.
Well, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember what any of them were. I never looked at them long enough, but you know what I mean.
Just stuff.
He just tattooed stuff.
Just shit that fucking rock dudes got back there. Playing cards and fucking shit like that.
Knives
Guns and
jokers and shit.
yeah.
John Smith said, as a kid in the 80s, the A-Team was the jam. Yeah, I remember liking the A-Team some. But like I said, you just kind of watched whatever was on. I just feel like we just watched whatever was on.
I never liked the A-Team.
We weren't
man.
real discerning.
Something about the A-Team that I couldn't get into it. Something about George Papard. I remember liking Airwolf a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't Ernest Borgnine in that?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think
Why am I
it
thinking that?
had that Jan Michael Vincent, I think is what his name was. Wasn't he?
Yeah. Wasn't that motherfucker in Miami Vice, too? Was that the same dude that was in Miami Vice?
No, I don't think so.
It was a long time ago.
I barely remember Miami Vice.
Yeah, I didn't really watch that either. I remember Don Johnson being in it, and I remember those terrible white suits and those fucking loafers with no socks.
Yeah.
Like, even back then, I was like, ugh.
Man, I remember when I was a kid, they were selling Don Johnson Miami Vice razors, and it was a razor that cut razor stubble.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that? So you could constantly have stubble.
So you could have Don Johnson.
So you could have Don Johnson stubble.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That's really weird. I had forgotten all about that until you brought that up.
They sell that shit right next to the gel.
Yeah.
Right next to the gel and
so
the
you can
moose.
get your manly 5 o'clock shadow
yeah.
that you can wear out to Miami, to the club. Yeah. Like I said, with your...
These are high school boys.
With your sockless loafers.
Yeah.
And your white linen suit with no shirt underneath
with
it.
your peach jacket.
You got at Chess King.
Yeah. Peach jacket from Chess King with a fucking white pants, white jeans and shit with your loafers and your OD green fucking sleeveless shirt underneath it.
Was he? I had the perception. Was he wearing a t-shirt
cigarettes
underneath the thing? Or okay,
he wore
I thought
t-shirt.
Sometimes he wasn't wearing a shirt, and I'm like,
he
that
wore
seems a little unprofessional.
No, they usually just wore like a colored t-shirt. It was like a wife beater under a jacket, under a blazer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it was like a real light linen blazer.
I just remember that look being, the thing for a moment.
Well, it was Miami, man. It was tropical and shit, but you had
like, whoa, people were like fucking.
It was fucking hot, but you got to be wearing a suit. So you look like you got money and you got a fucking sports car.
So that was kind of like how you worked around like having to wear a suit.
The coolest thing about that movie, and most people didn't notice it, is what was Don Johnson's gun was a fucking stainless Bren 10, and fucking most people didn't know what that was. They didn't make very many of them. It was an experimental pistol. It was the hottest thing fucking going. It was basically a CZ-75. It carried about 17 rounds of 10 millimeter. Which is like 41 Magnum, fucking real powerful. We're talking about full boat 10 millimeter. That's that 1980s 10 millimeter when they loaded it hot from the factory. Nowadays you get 10 millimeter and it's like a hot 40 Smith & Wesson. But back in the day, man, fucking the real 10 millimeter was like fucking 41 Magnum. Well, it started blowing up 1911s. Fuck up, and 1911 45s were being converted to that. They couldn't survive the punishment. And the Bren 10 itself started to fall apart if you shot it too much. So that was kind of the end of the Bren 10. Although it was a good gun. It was well made. It was just 10 millimeter when it was fucking in it. Came out was too hot, man. It was a hot fucking round, man. It'd blow your shit up over time. And they made guns back then by hand and just thinking about it. They made them on a drafting table. They didn't use fucking computers, simulations, and fucking... There wasn't extensive testing. They just went out and shot a few thousand rounds. Yeah, it'll hold.
Mark says, yeah, the Hoff was like Elvis in Germany.
I heard that.
And Gramthars said, Germans have weird taste about American stuff. Limp Bizkit is huge there. So is Cyndi Lauper and Burger King.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, Burger King, when Burger King is good, and it's not good anymore. I haven't been to a good Burger King in a long time, but when Burger King was good, it was good. But it's slipping now. Everything I got from Burger King, I go to Burger King. Everything I get from Burger King is kind of dry. Dry, and the bread always is kind of stale.
Well, I mean, the one that we stop at sometimes, the only time we ever go there is like on the way to the movies, because it's like really the only thing that's easy to get to, like on the way to the movies. It's cheap, I'll give it that, but
you can get a lot of food for nothing.
You can get a lot of food for not that much.
Not
but
worth much, though.
I mean, it's edible, but even when I was younger, I always preferred McDonald's and Wendy's to that. Jeff Yarrett said, thanks to those Duke boys and their tight jeans and boots, I became gay. LOL.
Man, maybe Daisy made me straight. That's the only chick I've ever seen wearing cutoffs and nylons, though.
She's like, well,
nylons.
They're like, well, you have to wear these cutoff shirts. She's like, yeah, but my thighs, I have like all kind of like, I don't want anybody seeing like all the ripples and stuff like that. So yeah, she had to put. But I kind of feel like that was the thing, though. I kind of feel like back in the '80s, people wanted to wear short shorts, but they're like, well, I don't think my legs look good enough, so I'm gonna put like nude tights on and hope nobody notices.
Redneck girls, fucking Mississippi and shit, would never put nylons underneath fucking. They wouldn't even thought it. Even if she had bad cellulite, she wouldn't even think about that. Like
Ben says, didn't they have fake stubble in a can? Yeah, they might have. Although you could do the same thing for free with like a cork and a lighter, to be honest with you. Just Ben also says Magnum PI was greater than all of them.
I vaguely remember that.
I kind of remember that. I remember that being all right. Yeah, that's Tom Selleck.
I remember it was pretty good.
I remember that being pretty good. Well, like I said, we watched so much TV back in the day. Like, I don't even remember a lot of it.
It was bad, mostly.
Yeah. I was, for some reason...
Your standards were lower back then, though.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot to pick from. You just watched what was on.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, in the early 80s to mid 80s, like before we really had... Well, I mean, we started having cable channels like in the early 80s probably. Like, because I got MTV in 81. And we had like pay channels, like we had HBO and Cinemax and stuff, but that was just movies. But TV shows, you know, you basically just had like the networks, and that was about it. I feel like.
Somebody's asking about Burger King and Hungry Jack's. What do you say about in Australia?
Our Burger Kings, like Hungry Jack's, have become in Australia. They want you to order stuff through a computer terminal, then half of it isn't available. I don't know about that. Like the Burger King that we go to, you still order at the counter like regular. But I have been to some McDonald's where you order at a kiosk. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But a lot... Well,
most of them are like that now.
A lot of them are like that now. Well, to be honest, like a lot of people just order through the app and then just pick it up, which, you know, you just go through you order through the app and then you go through the drive-thru and pick it up, so it's like much easier. But I don't know. I never run into that problem in Burger King. Because they don't have kiosks in that one. Because the Burger King we go to is like not one of the higher end ones. They really need to fix it up.
No, they need to tear that one down. It's not in a good location. And they can't get any fucking anybody to actually work in there. Everybody's in there just fucking.
Yeah, we went in one time and like we thought
there was like nobody there.
There was like nobody in there. Yeah. And I was like, so should I crawl over the counter and like make my own food or?
Yeah. There are kids in the back.
And then finally somebody wanders in from the back.
Back there smoking
weed. It was
weed.
like one person.
Yeah.
There was like one person there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, that one's not, it's a terrible location. You wouldn't think it was a terrible location because there's a bunch of other stuff there. Like there's a really popular restaurant there. There's like a popular pizzeria. There's a Starbucks right there.
Yeah.
But
it's not a good place for that though. So.
Yeah, it's not a good place for that. And it's kind of awkward to get into. Yeah. Like the parking lot is kind of awkward. You know
What's
what I mean?
Hungry Jack's? There must be Jack in the Box here.
Or it might just be its own chain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like they could in Brazil, they had Jack in the Box, but they couldn't call it Jack in the Box, because box in Portuguese refers to a shower, Jack in the shower.
And they're just like, that doesn't make any
sense.
Nobody's eating burgers in the shower.
Yeah, they don't know what.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah,
nobody.
they
I'm
don't
sure
know.
somebody
They don't
is,
know
but...
what a fucking Jack in the Box is. Jack's in the shower. What the fuck are they talking about?
The burgers are really clean, or they're damp, or what?
You got to go in the shower and eat that shit.
Now I just had like a visual of some dumpy guy like in a shower like eating a drippy Burger King burger.
They just called it Jack. I'd have called it shit Jack shit.
How funny would that be?
Jack shit.
Well, that's the thing though. I mean, I don't know. If you had that name, I guess you couldn't complain. Although Jack shit just kind of means like nothing. You know what
nothing.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like I got nothing. You got Jack shit. Yeah, Ben says Hungry Jack's is Burger King in Australia because the name was already taken when they expanded here. Okay. They have Whoppers and stuff. Okay. See, that is very interesting to me. The whole
Burger King was already taken.
Way, yeah. Huh. One thing I remember from being in the UK was, and I don't know if it's still prevalent nowadays, but they had they have all of the same chains that we have too, pretty much. But they had Wimpy, which was kind of like Burger King or McDonald's or something like that. They had a ton of those.
I know. I was watching this Russian guy who he has his own YouTube channel. When all this Ukraine thing kicked off, McDonald's pulled out of Russia. All right, so they lost all their McDonald's. But instantly, a bunch of Russian companies fucking chipped in to make fake McDonald's in Russia. I don't remember. I don't remember what the name is.
Sick Donald's.
No, doesn't have anything. Doesn't sound anything like McDonald's.
Well, I know. I'm making a joke.
It has a different name. But dude went in there to review it. He got a bunch of stuff. He said it's exactly like the original McDonald's. It's the same suppliers and everything. Just that none of the motifs can be the same. Nothing can be. Everything has to have a different name. You know what I mean? Like you can't call anything a Big Mac or anything, you know. But he said it's exactly the same. They did it without any with any McDonald's involvement. So there's a Russian McDonald's clone all over fucking McDonald's, all over Russia now, which was stupid. They should have just stayed there making money. But instead,
Ben said the actual McDonald's restaurants are still there in Russia, but the parent company pulled out.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he went and reviewed the one that got converted to the Russian equivalent of the McDonald's. He couldn't tell them apart. He said it was good.
Zach said, me and a dude went on a date yesterday, and we went to Wendy's. We were literally the only two people in there besides the employees. I was always, honestly, as far as burger, not so much because I haven't eaten one in a long time, but I always liked Wendy's more, like, out of the big three, like, the best out of all of them. I think because they had Frosties, for one, and two, because they had baked potatoes. And neither Burger King nor McDonald's,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I will add, have baked potatoes.
Yeah, stuffed baked potatoes with all the shit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Wendy's has that chili, which is
Yeah.
good. I'm not a huge chili fan, but you know what I mean?
It's good. I haven't been to a Wendy's in forever. I need to go. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't been in 20 years.
Yeah, when was the last time we went to one? Well, we've been to one together, but it was a long time ago. Like, I don't even remember how long ago it was. It was probably like 8 or 9 years ago, probably.
Man, I used to take... This is
What?
I kind of miss it. When I was in the Army, we'd buy all kinds of shit from like the local PX and stuff and stash it in the barracks. You could have canned food. You just couldn't have any. You could even have refrigerated food, but yeah, they changed that. Anyway, I used to get a can of chili with the beef, cheap shit like you would put on top of a chili dog, you know, and pour it. I would pour that over a pack of Fritos. Get a pack of Fritos.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
It was good, man.
Yeah.
I'd pour a pack of Fritos in a bowl, and
That's
then
not that
pour
weird.
a whole thing of chili in there, and I think I'd put some like Tabasco hot sauce on it, and like a couple slices of fucking Velveeta cheese on it, and I'd pop it in the microwave. And when you were drunk in the barracks, man, fucking when you're in your 20s,
Yeah,
that shit was
that's
fucking
like
great.
peak drunk food.
Yeah,
right
you're like,
there.
oh man, this shit's good. And your friends trying to steal it. Where's mine? Where's mine? All that kind of shit, you know. Yeah.
John Smith says the great chain in the UK is Greg's. Oh, I agree. Bakery that sells sausage rolls, and they are everywhere. Man, I used to go in there in the one in Cardiff, and I used to get those pork and apple pasties. Oh my god, those were so good. Yeah, they had some good stuff.
Victor called it fucking Frito pie. He says it's popular here. I don't know
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you are. I think he's in California.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like a lot of people eat
Frito
that.
pie. That's what they call it. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not that unusual. I hear a lot of people.
I just haven't had it. That shit was white trash as fuck. I haven't had it in a long time, but thinking about it made me want one. Because I just remember it being good.
Well, you
can
have it. I'm not.
Something about those Fritos getting hot and moist inside that beef
Ew,
chili.
you said moist.
Yeah, because they get kind of soft. They get kind of soft a little bit. You know, they're good.
Zach says these days Taco Bell is peak drunk food for people my age. Yeah, I was just reading an article about.
He's in Texas. Okay,
Taco
so
Bell.
that's popular in Texas. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard of that. Like a lot of people have that. Is it, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Fritos or chili all that much, so it's like I never really wanted to eat anything like that. But yeah, Zach said I think my favorite fast food item now is the breakfast crunch wrap at Taco Bell. Every time I eat one, I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack for a few hours after, but it's worth it. I don't eat a lot at Taco Bell.
We don't have one around here.
I mean, there's one around here, I'm sure, but I don't know.
I never see 'em.
Where it is.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like where we live, if you go like 5, 6, 7 miles up the road, you know, yeah, there's a bunch of fast food shit up there, but it's like not around here so much. There's really not any fast food around here. Down there's a Subway in the Circle K. And then there's what's the closest other fast food place? I don't know. Like I said, we have like a breakfast brunch place. We have a Chinese restaurant. We have a Domino's. I guess that's kind of fast food.
When I was in California, we had Taco Bell back in the 70s and 80s. Taco Bell, we had another one called Del Taco. And Del Taco was like welfare Taco Bell.
We got Del Taco.
It was
there's
terrible.
There's 2 in Orlando.
But she took me to this one over here. She took me to I guess it's the same company. It's called Del Taco.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a lot better than
They have
Taco
tacos
Bell.
and French fries.
Yeah, it was real good.
You could even get tacos with French fries on them, which
Yeah.
not real.
Never heard of that,
but I mean, well, you know,
probably all right.
it's not real authentic
More carbs,
or anything, but
you know.
neither is Taco Bell. So
Yeah.
if it's good, I'm gonna eat it. I don't care.
I don't know. I thought a gordita was just something Taco Bell made up. No, they have those in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, well, like I said, I was just reading an article about Taco Bell and about how they're like, yeah, they know they have this reputation as being like, oh, the food that stoners eat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that they always come up with all these crazy concoctions, like, you know, the Dorito taco. What the fuck is that thing called that has the thing made out of Doritos or whatever? Which was like a genius idea because they sold like 1 billion of those. But they're like, yeah, so they think it's like a bunch of stoners like sitting around trying to make up new iterations of stuff, but they said no, they're like super calculated about it. They have like this huge R&D team that like puts together everything, and they run it through like to see like how fast people can make them, like, you know, so they can do them in the restaurants, like, and they'll get them out quickly and stuff like that. But they're really, really calculating about all the stuff they come up with. Ben says, I hear Waffle House can be an entertaining place to visit.
You're gonna get in a fight at Waffle House, probably.
Well, I mean,
we stopped going because fucking it was gonna almost got in a fight at Waffle House.
we used to where Tom used to live.
Yeah.
Before we moved in together, like we would stop at Waffle House because it was right on the way home. You know what I mean? And Waffle House is drunk food. You want like some eggs and some waffles or some biscuits with jelly and hot sauce on them if you're Tom. And it's fun, but there's all the other drunk people in there too. And if you're all kind of gossed out, there's kind of like some rednecky vibe going on there. So, and sometimes people are okay with it and sometimes not so much. So you kind of got to watch your step. Is what I'm saying.
It wasn't rednecks, though. It was Hispanic guys.
Well, I mean,
that one night, yeah.
I don't even remember.
They just want to talk about the Matrix and shit. And I was like, God.
Well, and we were talking about that just the other night because I said, remember how we were talking about when they did the Wednesday show, and I was like, oh, here comes the new rotation of like all the goth stuff where everybody thinking that you're Wednesday. But because you have to understand that like people that have been in the goth scene, I was like, this goes in cycles, like every you know, I was like, I the first time I remember it happening was when Tim Burton first got big, like when Beetlejuice came out. Then like if you were gothed out, everybody's like Beetlejuice,
then Marilyn Manson,
and then it was Marilyn Manson, and then it was the Matrix, and then it was like everyone thought you were copying that, or the Crow that was in there too. So like every couple of years, like some gothy media will go mainstream, and then the
mainstream people,
everybody thinks that you're ripping that off.
I think that you're just because it's like dealing with religious people. It's a lot like dealing with religious people.
It is.
They have no idea what they're talking about.
They
want to be an expert.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's the thing. It's like this shit's been going on for like decades, and you just only now like found out about it, and then suddenly you're kind of like Mr. Oh, you're into this, that, and the other thing, and I'm just like, you just have no idea what you're talking about. Please leave me alone. But you know what I mean? It's just that kind of shit. But I kind of worried that would happen like when Wednesday came out, but it hasn't been too bad so far. I haven't really got any crap about that, but maybe because I don't know why, but you know. Gramthars said Waffle House grits taste like warm boogers. Yeah, they don't season them, unfortunately. Their waffles are pretty good, and you know, the eggs and biscuits and stuff. I mean, it's hard to mess that up, really. Even like kind of shitty eggs and biscuits and waffles are still pretty good. You know what I mean? kind of like pizza. It's, you know, it's there's good pizza and great pizza and stuff, but pizza is good, like, pretty much. No matter how crappy it is. Victor said, real gorditas are nothing like Taco Bell's. They just call them gorditas. Yeah, I was watching...
Yeah, well, I got real ones here, man. It's got my Mexican restaurant right up here, right up the street. They have gorditas. Yeah, they're not like a Taco Bell gordita, but a Big Mac is nothing like a home hamburger. That's nothing like a hamburger, you know what I mean? It's just...
And I feel like Taco Bell have kind of pivoted away from... Because when they first started out, I was just watching a video last night or the night before on Weird History Food about Taco Bell, like the history of Taco Bell. And actually it was on that Food That Built America or whatever, like that History Channel show. They did an episode about Taco Bell too. And they were talking about when they first started out, obviously like Mexican food wasn't mainstream like in... you know, most of America. Yeah. So they kind of started out more as like a Mexican food, even though even from the beginning it wasn't super authentic.
The dude that made it really didn't know much about food.
No.
All right. He wanted a fast food that could compete with a hamburger. He was in California. He saw migrant workers and dudes from Mexico working on construction zones, eating something he had never seen before. It was a fucking taco. And he goes, man, that's basically a hamburger. You got a kind of bread with meat and vegetables because that's a fucking hamburger. It's just a different shape. He'd never tasted it, you know. So he got his hands on one and tasted it. And he goes, yeah, that's pretty good. I can do without that seasoning, though. Because this was the 50s.
Right.
Americans of the 50s, they grew up and eating the food that their parents gave them from the Depression. They didn't have spices. I mean...
Yeah, you put black pepper on something and they freak the fuck out.
Man, that's some fancy shit.
Wow, it's hot.
I got a Duncan Hines catalog from the 30s downstairs that's been in the family forever that has to explain to you what oregano is.
Right.
Because they're going to teach you how to make tomato sauce, the spaghetti sauce. And if you execute that spaghetti sauce recipe out of that Duncan Hines 1935 cookbook, you will throw that shit away. That is... Because I've made it many times when I was a kid. They didn't have any ingredients. It's sour. It's just sour.
Did they not put any sugar in it?
It had a little bit, but they didn't.
Not enough.
Not enough.
They didn't understand the whole acid sweet balance type of situation.
No, that shit wasn't rocking yet. It was salt and pepper with water, tomato paste, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of garlic, and oregano. That's it. And I think it had garlic. I think it did.
Man,
it may have not had garlic.
Must have tasted like low rent Franco-American spaghetti sauce.
Worse.
Like super thin.
Yeah, thin and kind of tart and salty.
I don't like that.
And you wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it. It may have not had garlic in it. It just tastes super incomplete. But that's what the spaghetti sauce was.
I guess they didn't know any different.
It has to tell you about Italian food. And it's called foreign food.
Yeah, that's fun. And that's something that I actually remember. I mean, it was going away when I was a kid, like in the 70s. But it was still kind of considered, not so much Italian food, but I kind of feel like Chinese food was for real, like still considered.
I think there's Chinese food in that 1930s Duncan Hines recipe.
Everybody thought Chinese food was le choy, man. You get it in that big fucking can. I think they still sell that shit.
I remember, I need to go in there and get it. I think it's just stir-fried rice. It has that. And I think it has orange duck. And that may be it. You know what I mean? It was just shit from the 30s. And things like chow mein. Just diced up vegetables on. I think there might be an egg foo young recipe. They had that shit. American Chinese food goes way back.
I like egg foo young a lot. I get it that we used to go to this place called, what the hell was the name of that restaurant that we used to?
China Star?
Lee's Palace.
Lee's Palace, that's right.
Yeah.
That one,
They had really good egg foo young in there.
Yeah.
That was like, it was mostly pickup, but it had like a big, nice like sit down area too. So a lot of times we went in there and sat down and ate, but we were the only ones doing that because everybody was just picking stuff up. Gramthars says, is there a tougher job than being a Waffle House waitress on the night shift? I always felt sorry for them and what they had to deal with. Yeah, that must be a real shit show. You know, anywhere that you have to work in food service where everyone is drunk and they're all like coming in, I don't really envy. That must be the fucking worst.
Waffle House is not peak drunk food though. Peak drunk food is fucking White Castle, and if you don't have White Castle, it's gonna be a Crystal.
Yeah, which are pretty
It's the
similar.
same thing, but I don't know how I did some of that shit that I did at White Castle when I was fucking younger. I would go into White Castle just blasted, and I'm pretty sure that I ate more than a dozen hamburgers. It might have been 2 dozen. I remember because you could get a big box.
Yeah.
Like a family fucking box.
You're just like, I'm my own family.
Yeah, I'm my own family.
It's gonna eat this whole just sit there and eat
I'd
it.
go in there drunk, you know what I mean, and go. And my eyes are getting bigger than my stomach, you know what I mean, and I'm fucking going, you got the family box. You know?
I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a whole family. And to get the family.
You can be as big as a whole family.
Like
keep eating like that.
I remember that shit was like fucking almost the size of a briefcase. And you're like,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think Crystal had something similar.
Yeah,
we didn't have White Castle.
Carry it like that. It's like that. You know, you unfold it and all the fucking steam.
Go to the office.
You're going, I can't remember how many were in there. But I'm pretty sure I ate all of them.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Pretty sure. I don't know how I did that kind of shit back, when I was in my 20s.
You know, when you're younger, you have
could
like
just do
super metabolism. Well, you had super metabolism. I didn't. I've never had super metabolism, but you know what I mean? You probably did. But you still have that because a lot of times, like we're coming back from the club and we go to Circle K and I get like a little can of Pringles and a little chicken salad sandwich with cranberries on it. And then he'll go in there. I always say I'm going to get something different, but I'm just like, man, I really like that chicken salad sandwich. But he'll go in there and he'll be like, look, they have the XXL burritos. Yeah. I'm going to get 2 of those and this other thing and this. And then he can only eat one. He's like, I can't eat these. I was like, yeah. He heats them both up and he's like, I can't eat this. I'm just like, I usually can't. I can usually eat the sandwich and then I usually eat about half the little, because it is a little can of Pringles. I usually about half of that.
When I was younger, I could have eaten all that shit. I could have eaten it. I don't know. Can any of you people remember how many was in that big box of fucking White Castle?
Oh, White Castles.
It was either a dozen or 2 dozen.
You could probably Google it.
And I think in those days you could get it for like $10. You know, it was
Jeff
like
Yard said he thought it was 50 burgers to a box.
50 to a box. I don't fucking know. I just remember that it was about $10. It was about the price of a pizza, per se. And it was just an ungodly fucking amount of fucking hamburgers. For those of you people in other countries that don't know anything about White Castle is actually the original hamburger. That's where the hamburger came from. A lot of people can't accept that. Hamburgers were invented by White Castle. And they sucked. They fucking sucked. But there's
everything kind of sucked when
them.
it first started out.
There was something good about them. It was just a dinner roll.
I mean, it's like a slider, essentially. What they would call a slider nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays you call it a slider, but that was the original hamburger. It was square, about that big. And they had a meat patty that was the same size and shape as a cracker, a saltine cracker. It had holes in it and everything. And they would cook those meat patties along with the onions, and it would all be dripping. The grease would all be dripping, and they would put those in steamed dinner rolls.
Yeah.
Dinner rolls. And the basic serving came with like 4 of them. And that was your serving. And then, you could have fries on the side and it just came with ketchup. It had pickle on it too. Each one had 1 pickle.
I feel like, didn't they, I mean, Crystal, all it came on it, like out the box, was the fried onions, mustard, and 1 pickle slice.
Yeah, it might have had a little bit of ketchup on it.
Well, because I like ketchup and I always had to add it.
Okay, all right.
Because they didn't add it. It just came with mustard. I'm pretty sure it came with mustard on it, and onions, and 1 little slice of pickle.
Because the meat there's not much substance to the meat. It's pretty thin. It has a meat flavor, okay, a little bit of texture, and the dinner roll or the bun is so soft and airy because it's kind of like steamed. You can eat a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because if you were to ball it up in your hand, it would probably be
It's just like a bite.
Yeah, like a bite. It would probably be like the size of a Super Ball, or even smaller, if you were to knock all the air out of it.
Jeff,
so I remember being able to eat like a dozen of them at least.
He Googled it and he said in a box was 18 of them.
18, okay. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
I'll eat the fuck out of 18 of them.
You could probably still do that.
I could probably do that.
I've seen how much you put
Thought
away
it might have been 2 dozen.
at the Koi Wan buffet.
18.
So 18 White Castles would be no sweat, I feel like.
And it cost at the time it cost about what a medium or a large single topping pizza would cost, like from Domino's.
For the whole box?
Yeah. It's about $10.
Because Gramthars said that they used to be 25 cents each.
Yeah, they used to be cheap. Now they're a little more expensive.
Yeah. I remember, well, like I said, we didn't have White Castle here. We had Crystal, which is kind of the same thing. And
White Castle had good French fries. They were ruffled. Remember them? They were good. They weren't very big.
We didn't have White Castle. I told you.
What's that? No, they're the same as Crystal.
Well, I don't know if we ever got fries from Crystal, though.
Oh, okay.
Now that I think of it. Because usually my grandpa would go and, like, just get a big bag of them.
I think White Castles and Crystal are the same company.
They must be. I mean, it's just, like, a different region. Because I feel like Crystal is more southern, like southeast.
Yeah.
John Smith says, in one of the letters of H.P. Lovecraft, he describes having a walk on the wild side and goes to an Italian restaurant and has this exotic dish, ravioli.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm proud of HP because that's like something that he wouldn't, or he'd be like, he's like fucking, yeah.
Those are not Anglos. the Latins? No. Oh, no.
Poor HP. He had some issues.
Yeah, guys are foreigners.
That must have been, he pretty much thought everybody was foreigners except him.
Except him, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exotic foreigners that are dangerous, they're coming after you. They're going to destroy the civilization.
Yeah, read his story. What's it called? Horror at Red Hook or Terror at Red Hook or something like that. Yeah. I mean, a lot of his stuff is like super racist, but I kind of feel like that one to me like came across as the most racist. Because it's like really clear like what he's talking about, you know what I mean? He doesn't even bother like disguising it a little bit.
Without that, he would not, without his xenophobia, you would not get that kind of horror that he's writing. Where he's just
That's what I mean. So it's kind of like a change off. It's kind of like, it's uncomfortable to read nowadays, but if he hadn't been so fucking weird and so scared of everything, he might not have come up with the shit that he came up with.
He was paranoid.
Yeah, and like I said, he had some issues.
He got better when he got older, though.
He did, he did get a little bit better.
And his girlfriend was Jewish. She was the one that actually backed him and fucking helped him a lot. So. So he wasn't.
She made him go to like New York City, which I imagine he was like having an anxiety attack.
Yeah, that bitch never got out of the house. He was fucking sheltered.
Yeah, he just like lived with his mom and his aunties or something.
He didn't know what he was talking about.
Jeff Yard said, I couldn't imagine what H.P. Lovecraft would think of pad thai.
Oh shit. He'd have to get up and leave.
Oh, I can't. I just bring in my fainting couch. Well, it's just funny now because, like I said, just in our lifetime, I remember, Chinese food was like the big can of La Choy, from the grocery store.
Safeway.
It's right. Or, or the little...
Dixie.
Or if you had tacos, you had the little, what the fuck is that brand that comes in the box, like Ortega or whatever.
Ortega shells.
Yeah, like you would just get that and like put shredded up lettuce on it, which Mexicans don't do that.
And that was just a big old bit Dorito.
Pretty much.
That's all it was.
And it's just funny how in our lifetimes it's changed so much, and now everybody just eats everything. You know what I mean? And nobody thinks anything is weird anymore.
Well, it wasn't us. It was the boomers.
Yeah.
And even my parents' age, they had some food paranoia, that things that were like, my mother's still convinced that Japanese food is dangerous, that it'll kill you because it's raw, and eating raw fish is extremely dangerous. All kinds of shit. I don't see too many dead Japanese dying of that. You know what I mean? Just
other than maybe fugu.
Yeah.
But nobody's eating that. That shit's expensive.
Right. The boomers didn't know what they were talking about. They just believed any old fucking any kind of paranoid hype. They'd believe any paranoid hype.
Yeah.
Well, if you get a piercing in your nose will fall out. If you get a piercing in your tongue will fall out. Just all kinds of weird shit like that.
And it's like they obviously didn't know jack about Jack, but they were just kind of like, I don't know if they were just repeating stuff they heard, or it was like they didn't like it or were scared of it, so they just made up some story about it. I don't fucking know. but it's just very, very silly. Very, very silly. I just remember, and I remember there was a lot of stereotypes like around quote unquote foreign food, like when I was growing up, you know, stuff about Chinese food. Oh, it's like, you know, there's never cats around the Chinese restaurant. Oh, you know, like all that kind of crap. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I'm glad all that shit's gone. That's like fucking, I mean, you know, I'm sure some people still think that's stupid crap, but back then it was very, very prevalent. John Smith said he also talks at great length of his fear of seafood. Yeah. It doesn't surprise me he's afraid of seafood because a lot of his monsters were.
Last time I was talking like this, I had a boomer jump on me in the damn comment section that I was ageist and all kinds of shit. It's not all boomers. It's just in general.
Yeah, not all boomers.
It's not all.
Well, and I try, and I say this every time. Like, you guys that have hung around here a long time know. When I shit on old people or somebody, look, you can be 20 years old and be an old person, okay? It doesn't have to do with, like, how chronologically old you are. It has to do with how, like, psychologically old you are. You know what I mean? So, I'm not shitting, because I've known really, really cool 75-year-old people, and I've known really, really lame 20-year-old people. So, it doesn't have anything to do with how old you are chronologically. Zach says, would you eat this, the Indiana state dish, the pork tenderloin sandwich? Actually, Tom makes that. Like, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but we make pork tenderloin a lot, and we put it on a sandwich sometimes. And the state dessert is the vanilla sugar cream pie. I don't think I've ever had that, but that is totally something I could get behind, because all of those things sound delicious, and I'm sure that they're all delicious together. I wonder what I'm sure the Florida dessert is probably key lime pie, but I don't know what our national dish is. Yeah, I know oranges and all that kind of crap, but do we even have a state dish? I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it. Like I said, I'm sure our state dessert is key lime pie, because that's like a big Florida thing. But I can't think of a Florida dish that's specifically Floridian. Other than maybe some seafood or a Cuban sandwich. I don't really know, but that's not all of Florida. That's just like South Florida and like the West Coast a little bit, where there's like a big Cuban population. Oh, Zach said, I think yours is the Cuban sandwich. Okay, fair enough. That was literally the only thing I could think of. And like I said, the Cuban sandwich, it's widespread, but it's kind of more, it's more a South Florida thing.
What's
like
that?
The Cuban sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tampa. If you go to Tampa, that you can get a Cuban sandwich anywhere. Like, they got them everywhere. And they're really, really good. Actually, here you can get, they have them in like Publix and shit. You can get Cuban sandwich here. Some of them are better than others.
They're good. They're just not that special. This is a sandwich to me. Pork sandwich.
Well, it's good. Pork, and it's what else is on there?
It's on those kind of bread.
And it's like Cuban bread.
Yeah.
I like pork sandwich. I like Cuban
good.
sandwiches. But he was talking about the Indiana state dish is the pork tenderloin sandwich. And I said, well, you make those sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's exactly the same as the Indiana state one. And I said our state dessert is probably key lime pie, I imagine. Because Florida's kind of known for key lime pie.
They got some Cuban restaurants here where they're just more like eateries. You go in there, and for $6 you can just eat your fill with a bunch of beans and rice and pork and Cuban stuff. And you won't have a choice. It's just going to be kind of like here's your rice, here's your meat, here it is. You know, almost kind of like remember they had that heading towards Sanford. I ate there once. It was a long time ago, though, over 10 years. When you went over the bridge.
Yeah.
Went over the bridge, and before you got to the cobblestones.
Yeah.
There was something there. Or no, there at that intersection there was a Cuban restaurant on the left, and it was kind of like it was just a place where Cubans went to eat. They had lunch and dinner. That was it.
Yeah.
And it was just the same meal for everybody. There was no menu.
They're like, here, you'll take it and you'll like it.
Yeah, you either eat it or you don't. But the thing is, there's only like $6 for a huge fucking plate.
Well, that makes things really easy, doesn't it?
Because there's no choice. So therefore you can buy bulk shit and there's no waste and you can still make profit.
Yeah. I mean, if you just make one thing and it's really, really good and everybody comes to get that specifically, then that seems like a decent business model.
It's just traditional Central and South American food, you know. Beans and rice and pork with sides. Like might be fried plantain or something. It's probably different every time. Piece of bread.
Zach says, and we gave the country Steak and Shake, Indiana. And he says, I don't know how big of a brand Steak and Shake is outside Indy, but oh my god, it's so good. We actually have a bunch of Steak and Shakes here in Florida. I used to eat at the one in Daytona, and we've eaten at the one. There's one by the Altamont Mall where the movie theater we used to go to.
It's always jam-packed.
Yeah, it's always like really crowded. Their milkshakes are amazing. Yeah. I like their fries too. They have like those shoestring fries, and their burgers are always good. It's good. Super sloppy to eat in the car.
The sandwiches are greasy but good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like the good kind of grease.
Yeah. But yeah, we used to go through the drive-thru there sometimes. I mean, it takes a while because they cook everything from scratch, but you know what I mean. But yeah, he was talking about John Smith was talking about H.P. Lovecraft's fear of seafood.
Yeah.
I know that some people don't like seafood. Like my sister is kind of like that. Like she likes tuna, but she will not eat like any other kind of seafood. It grosses her out. But I'm like the opposite. I'll eat pretty much anything that comes out of the ocean. I'll eat that.
He came from a time when they didn't know what the surface of the earth was like, much less what was underneath the ocean. You know, he came from a time when they thought that you might be able to find an island somewhere that had dinosaurs or King Kong on it. Yeah,
what do you mean that didn't happen?
It might be a possibility. You might find Skull Island out there before satellites and all that shit.
I mean, I agree with him that underneath the ocean is scary. Like the
if you pull out a bitch of fucking lobster and shit, claws and armored scales on it, and then you pull out a fucking octopus, you know, and then you see something the size of a blue whale, you're gonna be like, nah, fuck this, man. There's no telling what's under there. There's no telling what's
Well, that's true, though.
What if there's a fucking lobster the size of a blue whale down there? What if there's a fucking, you know, yeah.
Get the drawn butter.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird things about some of those old drawings of giant octopus fucking tearing ships apart and giant squids tearing ships apart. There may be something to that. Those drawings all come from like the 1600s. Some of it 1700s, but mostly 1600s. And that was before commercial whaling started. It may have been when whales were more common, more plentiful. There was more meat out there swimming around. And something like a squid, maybe, or an octopus, maybe could get to that size. And if it got big enough to attack whales and shit, maybe and eat whales on a regular basis, how can they get big enough to attack a ship? Because a Humboldt squid will fucking throw a tentacle out and grab a guy on the back of a fishing boat and pull him in the water and kill him and eat him.
And I will note that
and you know that happened.
That Humboldt squid and those big giant squid are pretty fucking big, even nowadays. Yeah, even with the commercial fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
So imagine how much bigger they were back in the old days.
Yeah. So they're showing like a drawing of a Spanish galleon, and half of it's just covered up by a fucking squid, and its tentacles are going into the windows. And squid specialists and octopi specialists are going, yeah, that's something an octopus would do. Grab onto the side of a ship, if it was big enough, grab up on the side of a ship and start sending tentacles in there to see if there's food in there. They're smart.
Yeah, he's like, it's a box of snacks.
Right.
I'm just going to like feel it.
And it may not be trying to split the ship in half. You know, sailors of the time might have thought that, but probably what it was doing is trying to grab the cargo and grab men and get some food and then jump back off into the water. That sounds plausible to me.
Yeah, I mean, if it was big enough, like you said, they got to find some food too. And
just trying to get food.
Just a little floating box of snacks, like going by, like, he's going to check that out.
Yeah, let's go get some of these dudes off this ship and we'll eat them. Hey, what's this? Is this a barrel? What's in this barrel? Oh, it's got pork. Yeah, we'll take the fucking... Because it has salted pork and shit in the barrel. Oh, we're going to take this. So, yeah.
And booze.
Yeah, we're going to take that too. And then jump off in the water and eat it.
Little tentacles with booze.
Yeah.
So save this for later.
And then they had those big megalodon sharks and giant sharks. They found teeth on the bottom of the oceans the size of a man's hand, It's a fucking huge shark.
Oh my god, I would shit a brick if I saw that fucking shit.
Well, we don't know how long a shark lives. They found shark that are giant. You got to at least be 100 years old, and they're just as healthy and just as vivacious at 100 as they are when they're 10. How long can a shark live? if it has enough food, can it live hundreds of years and grow really big? Because back in the age of the dinosaur and everything, there was just a lot more meat out there to eat. So maybe the megalodon was big by today's standards, but maybe if you were to just let go of a modern shark of today, from today, like with a time machine, just take it in the pack and let it go. Maybe 300 years later, it's as big as a megalodon. 300 years later, maybe it might live to be 300 years. You don't know.
Just imagine, like, fucking sharks just getting bigger and bigger, just
Bigger
for
and bigger
300
and bigger.
years, just farting around in the
Yeah.
ocean. I'm gonna eat that shit. I'm gonna eat that shit too. I'm gonna eat that. And they're just for 300 years doing that.
Yeah. Well,
That's
they've had
crazy.
turtles that can live near 200. Or
Yeah,
maybe
there's like
past 200.
Galapagos tortoises and stuff. They live
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah,
They
they
don't,
get a
they,
little
don't, they don't eat meat though. Isn't that interesting?
No, but they get kind of slower.
Well, they
get-
start out pretty slow.
They start
to
slow
be
too,
fair.
but they get slow. Now,
they're very chill.
Now, I've heard they have no idea that they don't really know how long an alligator will live, and that no alligator has ever been observed dying of old age. And that they had I think the oldest one they knew of was an alligator that was like 125 years old, and it was huge. And it died because the dude taking care of it died, and he stopped, and it stopped feeding it, and it starved because they didn't know that he was dead. But he had it out in the fucking backyard in captivity. It was big. They know the alligators in the ancient days were fucking huge, Might be the same alligator, just 200-300 years old. But
Yeah.
evidently an alligator at 100-something years old is just as healthy and just as youthful as a baby. That they're not really aging as we know it. So, those things might be able to get very big.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of animals, especially ones that are quote unquote primitive like that, they tend to just like keep growing as long as there's enough food to sustain their
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, that's what limits it as far as we know. They kind of get limited by whatever, like if it's in captivity, what kind of aquarium it's in or whatever, that'll limit it, and also how much you've been feeding it. If it's not in captivity and it's got fucking massive amounts of fucking protein on a regular basis, it might live fucking hundreds of years and get giant.
Yeah, it might be like that fucking movie that we reviewed not
Yeah.
too long ago. That
And
big
none of
fucking
that-
giant one.
None of that would be happening in modern era, because in the era when you had dinosaurs and giant creatures, there was lots of them, and the earth could sustain large amounts of these creatures. It was hotter. It had a lot of CO2. An insect could get fucking huge. Dragonflies with 7-foot wingspans. Fucking foot-long cockroaches, which means that it's a high CO2 greenhouse effect going on. Real hot, lots of trees, and lots of CO2, and a shit ton of oxygen. Because they're looking at some of these insects, giant insects, and even some of these giant dinosaurs, and they were saying like, well, that really, how does that get enough oxygen? Well, the atmosphere was thicker then. It had a lot more oxygen rich. You had all those plants, The whole thing was just fucking big greenhouse, big tropical forest, hot. So you had a lot of oxygen. It didn't have, it could easily get a breath. So if you look at us now, we're kind of like in the end stages of we're a habitable planet, but we used to be a super habitable planet. That's what all the fucking great minds on the subject say. At one time, the Earth was super habitable. A creature could grow to fucking giant proportions and still get enough to eat. Proof's there. Look how big those fuckers were. And there were lots of them. And there's no telling what the ocean was like. I imagine it was just fucking stuffed with all kinds of shit. Huge shit.
John Smith says, for nightmare fuel, check out the goblin shark. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Let me go get some
That's the
ice.
one with like the big fucking weird nose. Like, why did that evolve? I wonder. I'm sure there was a reason, but it's not real attractive. I'm sure they're attractive to other goblin sharks. You know what I mean? And that's all that matters, really. Jeff Smith also says, at aquariums, I always felt sorry for the other fish in with the sharks. Right? I always kind of thought, like, when I went to SeaWorld when I was a kid, and the fact that they put the other fish in with the yes, I know they feed the sharks and everything like that, but it's like, you know, what if the shark just wanted a midnight snack one night? And he's just swimming around, and he's like, you know, that little baby grouper over there, I'm just going to go snack on it. You know what I mean? Picture says they have nice personalities. I feel kind of sorry for them. Because, like, well, the other sharks look kind of, like, sleek and badass and everything like that. And then here comes Goblin Shark. He's just, like, you know, with, like, the big fucking nose and everything. And I'm just like, oh. I wonder if the other sharks, like, laugh at him. Like, how ugly he is.
She shakes her head. No.
No.
No. It's the only cat I know that says no. She goes, shakes her head, tries to erase it.
Yeah, if she doesn't want to do something, if you tell her something she doesn't want to hear, she's like,
yeah. No, don't do it. I tried to grab her and she was running away going,
no.
I'm going to get you anyway.
She's like, no. Oh, you suck, Daddy.
You're getting fatter and fatter.
She's not getting fatter.
You're getting heavier and heavier.
She's not that heavy. Come on. She's just little. You're just little. Look at her little face. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. John Smith's talking about H.P. Lovecraft again. Yeah. His letters are fascinating. In his letters to Robert E. Howard, he's racist as fuck. To Robert Bloch, he's the nicest guy ever. I wonder why. That's really interesting. Robert E. Howard, if you didn't know, is the guy that came up with Conan. Yeah. And Robert Bloch wrote Psycho, among other things. So, yeah, I wonder why he's still, like, playing to his audience, I guess. I don't know that much about Robert E. Howard as a person. You know what I mean? I've read some of his other stuff, like, other than the Conan stuff, because he wrote, like, a lot of stories for Weird Tales and stuff, and a lot of them are on, I don't know if they're in the public domain, but a lot of them you can kind of read online.
He wrote Kull the Conqueror, too.
Yeah.
Who was kind of more like Conan from the movie than Conan was for the books. I haven't read any of that stuff. I probably should.
Yeah, you probably should. You might be into it. I don't know. I like some of his stories. I'm really into, somebody has been digitizing, like on Wikipedia Commons, a lot of the old Weird Tales from the 20s and 30s. So you can read a lot of those stories now for free. Like, they're on Wikipedia. Or it's Wikimedia Commons. So you go on there and you can read all this stuff. And there's a lot of Robert E. Howard stuff on there.
Howard committed suicide pretty young. Found his mom dead, if I remember correctly, and he couldn't make it. I think he was still in his 20s, wasn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think he lived very long.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that much about him as a person. He wrote a fuck ton, though, I feel like.
He was just a pretty big Texan guy. Kind of always reminded me of, looked like Al Capone a little bit. Something about the way he looked.
Yeah.
Wore suits and shit.
I don't know. I really liked all those, a lot of those writers that wrote for Weird Tales, and a lot of those writers that ran in like the 30s and 40s and 50s. I grew up reading a lot of those writers, like Robert Bloch and stuff. So I still have like a kind of an affinity for them, and you know, and I grew up watching like Twilight Zone and Night Gallery and, you know, Thriller and Outer Limits and all that kind of stuff too, that had a lot of adaptations of those stories. So. Look at Pookie. I can't believe she's sitting in your lap that long. Usually she jumps down.
No, she's chilling out.
She's mellowed out. Oh, look at you, Pookie.
She's not camera shy anymore.
Yeah. Everybody wants to see you. Oh my goodness. Get that chin. Yeah. So cute. I have a feeling that she's, like, mad at me because I'm not here during the day as much. Like, she's a little bit, not mad, but... She kind of got upset with me yesterday morning because I got up early because I had some work to do before I went to work, you know what I mean? And so I'm trying to do the shit, like, hurry up before I had to leave. And then she's like, Mommy. And then she jumps up on my laptop, plop, like right in the middle of it. And it's like, you know, I'm trying to work around her and I can't. And then I was just like, Pookie, I really have to get this done. And she was like, all right, the hell with you then. And just, like, jumped on it, and she wouldn't talk to me the rest of the day. And even when I came home, she was just like, Yeah. Sometimes she'll come run to see me, but sometimes she just is not having it. Yeah, they're talking about seafood. Jeff Hart says, I'll suck the juices out of the shells and even bring my own lobster bib to a restaurant. No shame. Yeah, like I said, I love seafood. And whenever we get a koi wan, I always kind of like pick and choose through all, because they usually have like a lot of fish and crab and crawfish and all that kind of stuff.
So what you guys want to talk about? Any questions?
Yeah, we had like kind of a lull there.
We're having a lull. If not, we'll shut it down. How long have we been going?
Only an hour and a half.
Okay, hour only. That's a pretty good amount of time.
I know, but usually we go a lot longer than that, especially if we're not going anyplace.
Yeah.
So it's not like we have to rush off anywhere, because we're not going anywhere. Everyone's like concentrating on Pookie.
Yeah.
I still can't believe she's sitting there for that long.
Trying to get down, Pookie.
She's like, no, I don't want to get down.
She's mad now.
Yeah, she's like, why'd you push me off? She's like, usually you want me up here. Yeah, Victor says, remember back in the day with the 5-hour shows. Yeah, it's like now, well, I guess when I was less tired. We go off on like a lot more tangents. But did we ever talk about, because remember last Friday's show before we went to Mannequins, and we were talking about the dress code thing they were implementing.
Yeah, that shit didn't fucking work.
Yeah, did we ever mention that?
No, I don't think so. That shit was all hype. That shit was all hype.
And I was like, well, we went there, and like some people were dressed up and were happy and stuff like that, but then like almost immediately like douchey people started. I'm like, it's douchier than ever. Like, what are they even talking about? Oh my god, that was just like, it wasn't as bad as it's been like sometimes, but it was still pretty much. It's like I thought they weren't letting these people in anymore. But I had fun later on. John Smith said, that is an adorable kitty. Yeah. She is an adorable kitty. And she's... I think a lot of it, too, I mean, she's cute, like, obviously, but a lot of it's, like, her personality, you know? Because she's, like... I don't know. She's really a little character. She is. Penn says, time for me to start working the streets. What? What are you out there doing? Zach is talking about going to a seafood restaurant for his birthday, and he was freaked out by the crab looking at him the whole time. Yeah, I don't really like to eat anything that has a face still on it. I'll admit that. Like, I love seafood, but I don't have a problem with, like, eating whole crabs. That doesn't bother me. But I don't want the fish with the head still on it. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like some places do that, and I'm just like, no, thanks. I don't want it looking at me, like I said. Zach said, I still can't believe I'm crushing on a dude who was old and died when I was 15. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Are you still are you talking about Robin Gibbs still? He died that long ago? The BG? I didn't realize he died that long ago. What you doing?
Getting my shit back.
Getting your shit back?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach says I am indeed. That's really funny. Well, you know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know? John Smith says, few kitties are not adorable. Sphinx cats can fuck right off. Oh, no, they're cute too.
No, they're cool. I like them. We
used to have this girl that used to bring her Sphinx cat to Will's pub. And he had a little sweater on and everything. I can't remember what his name was.
Little thing from Gremlin.
Gizmo?
Gizmo. No, it wasn't Gizmo. It was Stripe.
Oh, shit. It was something like that.
Yeah.
But she used to bring him like in a little, it kind of looked like a Happy Meal box or something like that. She used to bring him in that. And he had his little outfit on. And you would think, because if we took Pookie to the club, she would just be like, fuck this, and she would go hide under a table.
Yeah.
But this cat was super social.
Yeah, he'd get up on the fucking table and walk
He's
around.
like, hey, what's up, y'all? And
yeah,
he would just be like...
pet him in the middle of a club, and he's
hey,
like, what the hell's going on here?
Hi, everybody.
Looking you drink. You drinking
what you got there?
Yeah.
Never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
John Smith said, Sphinx cats always look like walking testicles to me. They can't help it. Yeah, they do look like they're made of ball sack skin. And they always look angry.
They're not, though. They're nice.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, they are kind of cool. Yeah, the striped gremlin is named Stripe. See, we were trying to remember what that cat's name was. I thought maybe it was Gizmo.
It was named after one of the things from fucking the Gremlins.
Well, Gizmo was the cute one.
But it must have been Gizmo.
Unless his name was Mogwai, which is what Gizmo is.
No.
Is a Mogwai.
No.
But that wasn't.
It might have been Gizmo.
I thought it was Gizmo. And I'm trying to remember what he had on his little sweater. He
was wearing a sweater.
It was a little sweater,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what his little sweater was because I was always.
That was a Christmas sweater, wasn't it?
It might have been a Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
For some reason I
Santa
thought it was
Claus
like
or
a
something.
sports team, but maybe it was a Christmas
I
sweater.
think it said Santa Claus on it.
I see. I always wanted to get Pookie outfits, but I
Yeah.
don't think she would wear them. I think she would just get mad. We were talking about her the other day because she always makes, she always jumps up and like makes biscuits on your chest and stuff like that. So I wanted her a little chef coat, or a little chef hat, and a little chef hat, but I don't think she would wear it. We tried to, one of you guys made a tiny little Santa hat. Actually made it for Dennis back there. Like a little Santa hat for Dennis. And I tried to put it on Pookie one year for Christmas, and she was just like not having that. Not having it. I saw earlier an ad on Facebook or Instagram or something, and they have one of those little little vests that you can put on the cat that has like a leash on it, so you could take him for a walk. Because I always kind of want to do that for Pookie, but I don't think she would do it. She doesn't seem to like to work. And the one time we tried to put a leash or something like that on Beijing, that was the funniest shit ever. I wish we'd have got that on video. She tried to crawl out from underneath it.
Yeah.
Like we put the harness on her, and she gets way down on the floor. She's like,
get underneath.
she was trying to like crawl out from underneath.
Yeah, she was screaming like it was killing her. No! I was like, come on, let's walk on the leash.
Let's
She's,
go.
no! She
so
didn't understand leash at
It
all.
was so funny.
So I gave up.
Yeah, we were like, well, it was just putting her through too much trauma.
She had no idea. She had no idea what it was I was doing to her. Why are you punishing me?
Yeah, I think she thought we were punishing her for something.
Yeah.
But that was just, it was like funny, but it was also like I felt really bad. Zach says, why does making biscuits on your chest sound so dirty?
It is dirty, man. Fucking, I'll wake up and she's doing the shit on my crotch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And she'll be sitting up next to me like she's fucking playing some fucking grand piano or some shit.
She's like a little
around.
Mozart.
Yeah.
She's out there like composing some shit.
Might have, her head's moving around. Might be Stevie Wonder. She goes off into La La Land. I don't know what she's doing.
I've heard that I don't know if they know if this is the case or not, but I've heard that it's because I guess when they're kittens, they smush on their mom's teats or whatever, like to get milk out, and I guess it's just like a learned or like a instinctive behavior. So when they're raised by humans, that's just something that they do. I don't think they think about it.
Just trying to get comfort.
Yeah. Because she does that a lot. Like, she'll come up in the middle of the night, like, I guess if she's lonely or something. And then she's like...
Yeah.
But it's super funny because, like, her facial expression goes... She looks like she's, like, blissing out. Like, wow.
Yeah.
It's, like, it's really funny. I wish I could get, like, video of it, but I'm never quick enough.
It's relaxing to her.
Zach says, that makes me think of a video I saw of a cat that got a tissue box stuck on its head and the people drew a sad face on it. I think I saw that video. I watch a lot of videos about why cats do the weird shit that they do. Like why they always want to get in boxes or like crawl in these tiny little spaces that are clearly too small for them. I guess it's because they feel safer, but I don't know. Why do they always want to get in stuff that's clearly too small for them, though? Mm-hmm. Like, there's all kind of videos of cats trying to crawl into, like, little bitty glass bowls, and then they're, like, kind of all smushed up against it, like, this was a terrible mistake. Like, you know, and they can't get out. I don't know. I don't know. Or ones that are, like, stuck in the closet hangers, you know, the clothes hangers. They get up there like that. Well, that's why I don't let Pookie in the closet anymore, because she got in there one time and almost strangled herself on one of my bras. She, like,
what a way to go.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, she jumped through the thing and she couldn't get out. You know what I mean? So she's not allowed to go in the closet anymore. Even though she wants to go in there all the time. She'll stand there and yell. But
and we got a pretty big crowd in here for so late, man. Almost 30 people.
It's not that late. It's only 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like I said.
They just keep pouring in. Guys, go ahead and ask us any kind of questions you want to. If it can help us direct this this conversation and, you know, Because we can't talk about cats forever.
Well, I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, I guess some people could talk about cats forever.
Don't be that way.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's... What else has been going on? Like, we talked about the mannequins thing. We talked about the nipple piercing.
Yeah, talk about the nipple piercing.
We talked about that on Monday.
Those are all healed up. No problems.
Not so far.
No, it already happened by now.
Yeah, you
no
think
infections, nothing.
Well,
so.
like I said, I got like the cream stuff, so I'm keeping that on there. Who else did you send pictures to without telling me?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was it.
He's sending people pictures of my.
Well, no, yeah, just of the boobs. Hey, man, I'm showing my work, man.
Without
Fucking,
telling me.
I had to run it by a fucking a piercer guy that I know, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's good. You did a good job." Fucking and then showed a couple friends of the shows. Yeah. But it's not like picture your fucking boobs hiked up around your smiling face. You know? It's not like that. It's not a good, not like the kind of picture I would want to share. You know? It was medical.
It
photos.
was a clinical.
It was clinical. We still got to do a photo shoot.
Yeah, I know.
We got to do a photo shoot. You just got to get more. Well, we're not going to go out this weekend. Well, maybe we go out tomorrow, but we got tomorrow. Probably cut some more tree.
Cut some more tree,
yeah.
That's really nice being able to drive into the driveway without the tree scraping all over my car. Like every time I come in and back
we got
out.
the whole fucking tree trimmed.
Yeah, you took a lot off of that.
Yep.
Zach says, or how dogs are just chilling out and sleeping, but they're in these hideously contorted positions where they look all mangled, but they're just fine. Yeah. Cats do that too. They sleep, not so much Pookie, but I've seen like other cats sleep in like super weird positions.
Oh, I got paint. I got to paint some rooms too.
Yeah, we finally bought paint.
I got paint
for the bedroom.
Yeah, it's dark. It's like a dark blue. It's a real cool kind of dark blue.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm gonna paint though. Should I paint the bedroom?
I guess so.
You want to paint that?
Yeah. All
right, because we're in there mostly.
I mean, I feel like we could paint it, and then like I want to hang some. We don't have anything like on the walls or anything.
No.
Like, look how fucking tricked out this shit is.
Yeah, I know.
Here.
This is
the bedroom.
This is the most tricked out fucking room in the house.
Well, yeah, because this
most
is
of the house
my
is just empty.
Because this is my space, and I like all this stuff. So the bedroom is like there's literally the only thing in there is the bed, 2 bedside tables with lamps on them, and the TV.
Yeah.
And like a little shelf that has like DVDs and shit on it and cat treats and stuff.
It'll be real dark in there. But I have all this lights.
The only decoration we have is like we have we have a bunch of those like light projector things, you know what I mean? Like we have in here like the colored lights.
It's called a Bliss light.
Yeah, but the one we have in the bedroom is like it looks like galaxies and shit.
Yeah, Bliss Light 2.0. It's good. If you guys ever I think it's about $40.
It's pretty.
It's got an app, you can talk to it on your phone, you can get it to the shade. And it's like a big swirling galaxy with fucking nebulas in it and shit. I got Bliss Light 1.0 too. It's not quite as good. It's just kind of static. It moves a little bit, but 2.0 is the best one.
Yeah, it's like red, green, and blue. Like it looks like galaxies or like nebulas
stars
like moving, and then like blue stars like moving.
Yeah.
So
you can change the color, and then you can get it to stop moving. It's got a bunch of stuff you can do with it. You can put it on a timer.
So it's always like before I go to sleep, I always tell Tom like turn off the sky. But it's like we've lived in this house for
a year or so, a little over a year.
Well, I guess in September it'll be 2 years.
Okay.
And like we have literally done nothing with that bedroom. We haven't painted it. Like,
couldn't afford to.
There's curtains. Like we hung curtains and blinds at least. Yeah. And but there's no art on the walls. Nope. We didn't paint.
No.
Nothing.
Well, we had all that other shit we had to do.
Yeah.
Had to get a lawnmower. That was fucking $5,000, I think. Or $3,000.
Yeah, I thought it was like 3,600.
Yeah, 3,600. But still $4,000. That had to put $15,000 worth of roof on or $10,000.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing that's going on now. Now they won't give you homeowners insurance unless you replace your roof every fucking 10 years now.
Yeah, that's right. And then we got hit with an extra like $200 a month because they said our roof is out of date. It's back in date, so
yeah, we got it done.
Got to get that back. It's just the same problems everybody else has, I guess.
And the thing about it is that the house we moved into, like this house is a lot bigger than our old house, so it's like we don't have, you know, we didn't have a huge amount of furniture at the other house, and we have like now it looks even less furniture.
Yeah. Over the next couple years, we'll have furniture.
Like that living room, like we have a living room kind of like upstairs, like this big open area, and there's like nothing in there. There's like our mini fridge is in there and our toaster oven.
Yeah.
And there's like a couple chairs that Pookie tears up.
I'm gonna try to I'm gonna go to Lowe's and maybe get some wood, and I'll build us the bar in there, and get a sink. Maybe I'll be able to find a used sink and tap it in and put a sink on the other side of there, so we have a bar sink in the fucking in the lounge. You know what I mean? It would be nice to have running water there.
That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah. We've got an ice
Like
machine.
I said, I kind of want a microwave in there too one of these days.
It's easy, yeah.
I mean, the toaster oven is good because you can use that for pretty much everything, but
Microwaves are cheap.
But microwaves aren't expensive. Yeah. You could just get a little bitty
one. They probably have microwaves at the dollar store, probably.
Yeah, I think they do actually.
Yeah, it's probably $30.
Well, I was gonna before we got that toaster oven, before you got me that for Christmas, I was gonna get a toaster from over there. They didn't have when I was there, they didn't have a toaster oven. They just had like a regular toaster. Yeah. I was like, no, I kind of want a toaster oven so you could make.
I got the pretty red toaster oven.
Yeah, we got the pretty red, and it matches the red ice maker.
Yeah. Now all we need is a fucking red refrigerator. It's black though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make red mini fridges. I think they make actually. I guess like red appliances are pretty popular because they make like a lot of red ones. Zach says he got an air fryer.
What I'll do is I can paint one of the walls in there blue, like an accent wall, and see if we like it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And if we like it, I'll continue. I'll just paint the whole.
Well, that's my old house that I had in Daytona.
Yeah.
That's about the same color as my bedroom was in my old house, and I really liked it. I think the one you got is like slightly darker, like maybe more towards navy, whereas mine was a little bit more saturated. Right. But it's very, very similar. Good. And I really liked it. I thought it was like really relaxing. I like dark colors. I don't really like or I like dark colors or like saturated colors. Yeah. I don't like any of this bullshit. Oh, beige or like lavender. I don't like any of this. I'm like, have a color. You're right. Yeah. Okay. It's just like if I'm gonna put color on the wall, put some fucking color on.
Zach, I got an air fryer. I got one of the best ones downstairs. It's an oven, toaster oven, and air fryer, and grill. Got that bitch.
You've been making
from Sam's.
You've been making pizzas.
I can make pizza in it.
And the pizza, it's really good. And it's better. It's good because, like, in the summer, you don't have to, like, heat the oven up.
Yeah. It's a lot more energy efficient.
It is, yeah.
I'll just use it on the cast iron grill that comes out. You can just oil it and put the dough directly on the square cast iron grill. And put it on grill/air fryer, maximum up on, like, 450 degrees. And for about 15, 16 minutes, and it comes out fucking great. Not as good as on stone, but
I mean, it's still. Easier. I mean, it's not a huge difference.
Yeah, you're not you're not worrying about a peel or anything. It's just kind of like pizza you'd get at a regular pizzeria.
Yeah.
You know.
We had that for dinner.
Another thing you can do is you can drop it in one of the air fryer baskets. Turn it all the way up on air fry. Oh no, turn it up on pizza setting, and that comes out great, real good. It's just that. You got to be careful with the dough. The dough has got to be real kind of tough. If not, it fucking it drips through the wire screen of the air fryer baskets. So if your dough is maybe like a day too old, it would normally work on stone, but it won't work in that fucking basket. Because when it cooks, you can't get the pizza out of the basket because the fucking dough is kind of dripped in between all the little holes. So you got to reach under there and fucking scrape it, and knock all that shit loose, and that's a pain in the ass. And then you might be able to get that pizza out of the basket. So you just got to be real careful what kind of dough you're going to use.
I feel like that
it's got to be fresh.
That air fryer though has really been a good. I mean, you make a lot of stuff.
Don't have to use the main oven.
Yeah, we don't use the oven all that much. I mean, we used the other day to make the turkey. Yeah. But then we had Thanksgiving for Easter.
Got 4 more turkeys.
Did we eat all of the other turkey already?
We've eaten 3 turkeys, I think. 3 or 4 turkeys.
Like, yeah.
I think I had 8. So we ate 4 turkeys.
I thought we had 9. I thought we had 9 turkeys. I think to start with.
I think I got 4 turkeys. I might have 5. I think it's 4.
Turkey.
Yeah.
John Smith said, since getting an air fryer, I feel like it's a cult. I feel like the air fryer thing, I don't feel like it's quite as much of a cult as the Instant Pot thing. But
I got one of those too.
Because I feel like Instant Pot, that was definitely
Yeah.
like a cult. Every fucker was talking about that.
Instant Pot's good.
But
Makes real
they're,
good-
I mean, they're handy though.
Makes good carnitas. It makes good Indian food.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. And a lot of people like them, you know, like for rice and stuff. Well, and like you said, they're really good for if you're going to make a meal and you don't really feel like, you know, you just set it before you leave for work in the morning and then it's like ready when you get home.
Got to go to
like
House
that.
of Spices.
God, we haven't been to House of Spices in a long time.
Yeah, I want to get some of that shan butter chicken mix and I want to get some garam masala.
Can we also...
I guess I could run down there on a motorcycle.
Yeah. Can we also get some paneer and make some kind of paneer dish? We haven't had that in a really long time.
Yeah, I'll buy some paneer. You
You
can
know?
make paneer in that instant
I know
fryer.
we always say that,
In
but
that
we never
Instant Pot.
do, though.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to just go to House of Spices and get a big fucking block of the shit.
Yeah. It's made just with milk, and I can use that powdered milk to do it though. It's milk and vinegar.
Yeah, or milk and lemon juice. I can't
Milk
remember.
and lemon juice. That'll work.
One of
too,
those
yeah.
things.
You just got to cook it in the bottom of that damn fryer. I think they got a yogurt setting, and then they got the damn cheese setting.
Because, man, you haven't made sag paneer in a long time, and I love sag paneer.
You see, I'm growing all those beets out there. Beets and sweet potatoes. And the greens that come off of sweet potatoes are better than any spinach. I've used them on pizza. I've used them for fucking Indian food. Substituted fucking sag for sweet potato leaves. And what I gave you on the taco, so lettuce on the taco,
Yeah.
that was actually beet greens.
Really?
And I got a lot of beet greens, and I tried them, and they're great on fucking salads. For a cold salad, it's kind of like romaine lettuce.
Okay.
So we should get a decent yield of those. And so I was like, okay, I might put some of these aside and fucking let Jenny get a salad.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have like chicken with it or something, like chicken salad, like a what do you call it? Like a
Caesar salad? or-
No, not a Caesar salad. What do you call it? Chef salad.
Chef salad, yeah. That's what I meant.
Which is like chicken and ham or something, you know, and fucking lettuce and croutons.
Yeah, what the hell is all in a chef salad? Aren't there boiled
It's
eggs?
got hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, that's
it's
boiled
got
eggs on it.
Sliced
Croutons,
turkey,
turkey, ham.
ham,
cheese.
croutons, cheese, lettuce, and some kind of dressing.
Yeah, I can't remember what kind of dressing it has. What kind of dressing does a chef
It can
salad
be
have?
anything you want.
I got a salad from
Chef salad.
Publix the other day because, you know, like Tuesday night when you go to bike night, I usually go down to Publix Deli or the Chinese place and get food. And I was at Publix and they had a really good looking salad. It wasn't a chef salad though. It just had some kind of like vinaigrette on it. And then it had like just, you know, your regular greens. It had slices of green apple. It had cranberries, kind of candied almonds, and chicken, like kind of like cold chunks of like fried chicken,
Yeah.
like a little bit like chicken nugget type things. And what else was in there? I feel like there was. Did I say cranberries? There's cranberries in there too.
Yeah.
And there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. But man, that shit was delicious.
You know what else is good? The leaves that come off of broccoli.
Yeah.
You can just dice them up and cook them, boil them, and then once they're soft, including like all the stalks, shit you wouldn't eat, you just use your immersion blender and puree it. All right, you're gonna make like a broccoli soup out of it. Cook it down.
Broccoli soup.
Yeah, it's good.
I wish
You
it was
just
winter.
drink it.
I wish it was winter time so we could make soup again,
Yeah,
like some
tomato
pumpkin soup and
tomato
tomato soup.
and fucking grilled cheese sandwich.
Man, we never did that this last winter. I kept saying it's like, man, I really wanted that. And I
I'll do
think
it again. I have tomatoes coming.
Yeah. I mean, we could do it in the summertime. We could just pretend, but it's
Yeah.
always better in the winter when it's cold. Well, when it's cold-ish outside. It's Florida. It doesn't really get that cold down here, sadly. But you know what's weird is that it's April, right?
Yeah.
But a couple mornings ago, I went out to go to work, and it was, you know, like 6:30 in the morning or something like that, and it was 50 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck state am I in?
Yeah.
That never happens in April.
Yeah, not Florida.
Every now and then, like, I remember a couple of years where we had a really cold night, like in March, But that's very unusual.
Yeah.
And we've never, like, usually by the time April rolls around, it's like fucking 90 degrees already, or like 85.
John Smith, since he got that air fryer, says he rarely uses his oven. Yeah, you really only need that to cook something big now.
Yeah, we don't use ours much anymore.
I forgot what I call it. It's an air fryer, oven, grill. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. It's a good one. I think I paid $150 for it at Sam's.
That's not bad at all.
It's not bad at all, yeah.
Like for all that it does, because you can make like all it's like I said, it's about that big.
One thing I don't like about it is that Chinese don't fucking think ahead, but every knob on it is slick and chrome. So if you've got moist hands from working in the kitchen, if it's wet, you try to turn a knob, it just slides over it. They don't bother putting a paddle on it or fucking knurled ends or anything. That's fucking crazy. You'd be like, you gotta fucking get a dry towel to turn the fucking knobs. Crazy.
See, I'd be having all kinds of problem with that because you know how fucking clumsy I am all the time.
They're fucking chromed and slick as glass. It doesn't make any sense.
They're like, well, it looks good.
Yeah, it just looks good. But you can't fucking turn the damn knobs.
You're sitting there going,
thing.
Yeah, that would be. Victor said my Ninja air fryer is amazing. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people got into, like I said, that and the Instant Pot. I feel like the Instant Pot was more of a cult, but yeah, the air fryer thing is too. But the thing about it is that I kind of understand it because it is very, very handy.
Instant Pot works, though.
It does, yeah. That's what I mean.
All it is it can be a pot where you can saute, and it's also a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And it's some settings on there. But it's an easy-to-use pressure cooker. I'm not quite as scared of it as a real pressure cooker.
I think that's kind of what the thing was.
Kind of scared of pressure cookers.
Yeah,
man.
like back in the old days,
Yeah.
like my grandma had a pressure cooker, and every time she was using that, I'm like, I'm just going to go to the other end of the house. How about that? That shit exploded.
Things went wrong with things went wrong with pressure cookers over the years. And explosions happened, and real explosions, you know, fucking boom, you know, fucking blowing walls out.
They used to make bombs out of those.
Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of feel like they're still kind of scary, but I feel like they figured out how to make them like a little bit safer. It's like it could probably still explode, but if you really wanted it to.
It's got sensors in there. It knows when knows when shit goes wrong. It shuts itself off.
Right. So I feel like
it knows when there's not enough fluid in there.
Back in the 70s, they didn't have all those safety measures. So you were just like, well, if it blows up, it blows up. Sucks to be you.
What was great about pressure cookers is you could take dry beans or peas or whatever and get a meal in minutes instead of having to soak that shit overnight and slow cook stuff for fucking hours to get fucking beans rehydrated. And pressure cooker, 20 minutes, you know. And you can cook a big old piece of fucking low quality meat like a shoulder, a pork shoulder. You can put that in there and have it tender and succulent in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Shit, I've even seen them do that on MasterChef, like where they have like the time limit and then it's like, hey, I'm going to make these big thick pork chops or whatever. I'm going to make them in the pressure cooker and they come out like perfect after 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor said the Boston Marathon bomb was a pressure cooker. That's what I thought. And they always used to be really scary because, like I said, my grandma used to have like one of those old like 60s ones.
Well, what they did is they did that because shit. Maybe I can say nothing.
What?
I don't want to give away bomb making. They didn't. They just used it as a casing. Okay, because the other thing that you commonly use as a casing is easy. When you go to buy it at a hardware store, they go, "This motherfucker's building a bomb." But you go down to Walmart and get a pressure cooker, people don't go, "There, he's building a bomb." Okay.
I mean, I would think that, but that's just me.
So, because a lot of pressure cookers go out.
Because I always like to think the worst of somebody.
But the thing that you normally would buy to make a casing, you go, "Give me this, and it needs to be a foot long and this amount of diameter, and give me ends to it," and fucking they go, "Motherfucker, you're making bombs."
Yeah.
Because it's obvious what you're making.
Right.
So you use a pressure cooker.
No, I'm not.
Because it's a metal container that locks. It has a positive lock. You put a booster and an explosive inside that, and you have it wired so you can talk to the booster. Fucking, then you got a decent casing. If you've got a fucking... the reason why they did that is because they didn't have high explosive. All right. They had a low explosive, so it's going to have to be in a bomb casing. if you put a high explosive in a casing, you get more out of it. You get more shrapnel. But a high explosive doesn't need a casing. All right, that can just be because it goes off. It's got a shockwave good enough to be effective. Not after very far, but those guys were not using high explosive, so they had to use that. They had to use a bomb casing for that. What was that? It was a marathon, Boston Marathon. No, yeah.
Hugo says, "Hey guys, I want a T-shirt, but I only use PayPal. Can't do Super Chat. I can do PayPal.
Yeah, send her the order. I'll make it.
Just send me a message on somewhere on social media.
Just so I know what size is it. What size do you need, and what design do you want?
But I'll tell you what the PayPal email is.
Yeah.
And all that.
If it's real big, I have to call. If it's an extra large, I probably have to charge a little bit more.
Well, the blank shirts are a little bit more expensive.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. They usually only start charging more after like 2XL, I think.
Yeah.
John Smith says, hour grows late for me. I'll have to call it a night. Have a good one, y'all.
Right.
Good night. Victor says, my classmate was running the marathon that day, the Boston Marathon. He had already finished, though, like when that bomb went off. Yeah, I remember that. That was a long time ago, but yeah. Yeah, Zach said it's the end of April and it was in the 30s here last night. What the fuck? Yeah, it was hot as balls today. I'm not saying that, but the mornings have been actually like pretty cool and pleasant. And I was shocked as hell when I walked out the door the other day and it was 50 fucking degrees. I was like, oh my God, do I have to go back and get a jacket? I did not.
Funny thing about bombs is that if you go through history, they're obsolete. Those dudes that did that shit, none of them got what they wanted. They got attention, but they didn't get what they wanted. Nowadays, you can do the same thing with a fucking good video, a video that goes viral. It's just as effective as that bomb. When you actually looked at what the bomb did, the bomb called attention to the dude and what his issue was. That was it. But he still didn't get his way. You can do that with a video nowadays. A lot of force that terrorists and militaries used to use in the past is ineffective now. Kind of like obsolete in a certain way. Like the tank. The battle tank, the main battle tank. Those are only good for fighting other tanks and other conventional armies. Usually it's some kind of border skirmish. You're trying to get inside somebody's country. But if you're in something like civil strife or civil unrest or the country dividing into pieces or breaking apart, tanks are useless. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Bomb people's houses? Blow up people's houses? You don't need it. You're already inside the territory that you want, so you don't need them. The highest form of warfare is informational warfare. It was just basically psyops and fucking mind control. Propaganda. That's the highest form of it.
Victor said, whatever happened to David June? I remember I bought him a shirt once. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a little while. It hasn't been that long. I think it's only been like a week or two. I think he was here a couple weeks ago, but I'm still wondering whatever happened to some of our, like, what happened to Sandra from Germany?
Yeah.
What happened to Tila?
Yeah, I'm gone.
Did we do
Tila was in San Francisco, so she...
Did we make them mad or something?
I don't know.
I mean,
Tila's been gone for about a year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So what shirt did that guy want?
I don't know. He didn't say yet.
Okay.
Well, like I said, just send me a message on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, and I'll tell you what the PayPal
and I can tell you if I got it in stock too.
I mean, we have a lot of blank shirts here.
We got a lot of blank shirts,
but because I ordered like a fuck ton of them like a while back, just in one big bulk order.
Well, I was talking to Jenny before the show started, so I wanted to get some new designs. I want to get a Honky Kong shirt, which is for this. It's going to have it's going to say, instead of Donkey Kong in the same font and everything, it's just going to say Honky Kong. And I'm going to have the fucking gorilla. All right. Jenny wants to put my face on that gorilla, but that gorilla is so low res, it wouldn't work. We're just going to do that fucking stupid gorilla, and people are going to go, wait a minute, hold on. That doesn't say Donkey Kong. I wanted to do that. And we've got to come up with another one.
I mean, I've been writing down ideas for stuff, but it's like I write them down on little pieces of paper, and I don't know.
I want a Honky Kong. I might want eventually I want a vanilla gorilla shirt.
You want an abdominal snowman?
Maybe we'll get an abdominal snowman.
These are all about you.
It's just yeah. Well, they're just general. They're for me, but I want to wear it. It'd be funny on the show. It should be a gag, man. But we got to come up with some. I really love this design that you made. We got to come up with some more of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome.
Well, when I have time, like
Yeah.
I said, one of these days. I don't have a lot of time anymore, but
Yeah.
Because for something like that, I told you, whenever I'm designing shit, I mean, I'm not saying I don't overthink shit when I'm designing shit for other people, because I totally do. But when I'm designing stuff for my own self or for the show or something like that, it takes me like 3 times longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because for whatever reason, I'm always like super.
Yeah.
I'm way more picky like with our own stuff.
Yeah, Victor was thinking the same thing I was thinking. He said Tina was cool as shit, but she's probably a catfish. I was thinking.
I mean, she was here a long time though. That's like if you're a catfish, that's like a long game.
Yeah, yeah. It might have been a catfish account.
Yeah, Tammy said last time Tilo was here was close to Mother's Day last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like almost a year ago. Because holy shit, Mother's Day is coming up again, isn't it? Just because it's almost May.
She was trying to get out of San Francisco. San Francisco falling apart.
Sandra got eaten by a wildebeest. Please leave a message after
She was
the
eating
beep.
all that damn peanut butter and she blew up.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. She got mad because I was talking about Germany and fucking Mustache Man. Then she never came back. That's what I think. Speaking of people who got mad at me that came back, fucking our friend from the club, fucking shit manager. Shauna, yeah. You guys were asking about Shauna. Shauna made up with me. I don't know if I totally... It may be true. She said that I got drunk. Says, yeah, I'm going to get some of that one day. She got mad at me at the club. Which that sounded kind of like something I would say when I was
sounds
drunk.
like some shit.
Yeah, but I was fucking around. But she got mad about that. So she came up and she's doing, are we just going to ignore each other and be mad? I says, I ain't ignoring you. Fucking this and that. So you the one that's being on it. So we made up. She's all right. She's all right. She
was mad at you for a while.
She was mad for a little while. She's going to be okay, though.
Victor said, I got mad at you, but never left.
That's because my gay fans are solid, man. They're waiting for me to open that OnlyFans account, bro.
Well, you did open it.
I opened it.
We just haven't put
putting
anything on it.
Yeah.
We just haven't put anything
Have Jenny fucking filming my fucking solo scenes and shit. She can reach over there and give me a hand.
He's really... Yeah, it'll just be my hand in the video.
Jenny's hand and shit.
I better get a manicure if my hands are going to be on camera.
Have me dressed up as fucking... You'll be the hand, you'll be the thing from fucking...
Oh, yeah,
and you had me dressed up like fucking...
Lurch?
No, like... like fucking Wednesday Addams.
Oh, that's even better.
Me dressed up like Wednesday Addams and the fucking...
Can you have little braids in the dress and
the thing is fucking jerking me and shit.
That's a good idea. I think we should do that.
And then I grab the camera, turn it back, and fucking blow your cover. Like, there, it's her. I'm just coming up with kinky shit. It's kinky as fucking can.
I like that idea.
My boy Calhoun's here.
You probably want to do it.
My boy Calhoun listens to fucking... He's not here right now, but he listens to recorded. I was talking to him about it, and I was coming up with ideas. And he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes like, "I'd subscribe to that. I'd subscribe to that."
Yeah. Well, so we were talking about this the other day because we were talking about. I guess we started talking about the only. This was like last weekend, I guess, and we were talking about like the OnlyFans thing. We were kind of like making jokes about what we put on there and everything. But then we were talking about, or you were telling me about that video you were watching about that woman that was like an escort, or she had been in porn or something. And so she was talking about that.
Ayla, right? Ayla?
Yeah. That's what you were telling me about that.
Yeah, Ayla.
And I was like, more power to them, like women that can do, like, be escorts and, do porn and stuff like that.
She's an Asperger psycho, though. Fucking that
well,
shit.
right. Well, that's what I mean. And
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, here's the thing. Like, I would have a lot of difficulty being, like, doing escort thing. And it's because you have to, like, pretend to be nice to people, and I'm not good at doing that. However... when we were talking, I said, you know what, though? Yeah. I said, if I could be, one of those motherfuckers, like a dominatrix type thing,
Yeah.
where like dudes would come, and I didn't have to like have sex with them or anything, but I could just
talk
like
the shit out of
step on their balls and like kick
'em in
them
the nut, yeah.
and like make them eat out of a dog bowl and stuff.
Yeah.
I could totally do that.
Yeah, well,
That would actually be really fun.
No, there are girls that fucking specialize on that.
That's what I mean. See, I could do that,
Yeah.
like, because I could just be mean to people and I could
Yeah.
just be the biggest asshole I could be.
You'd have
and,
to
like,
have me there as
get
fucking-
paid for it.
You'd have to have me there as security, and I could add to the fucking pain and discomfort.
Right.
By laughing at the dude. By
Right.
fucking.
See, and I was like,
See,
maybe
you know.
we should do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like
'Cause
a lot of fun.
I'll go back on trend and I'll be extremely cruel. Okay.
Because I said, because the girl that you were talking about,
Yeah.
it's like, even though she kind of, she kind of sounded like me in a lot of ways, so like kind of Aspergery, but,
Yeah.
but she was apparently really good at playing roles and like being nice to people, and I'm really not good at that. So it was like, and I'm really not good at like pretending to like people when I don't like them. And so, but if I could just be mean to people and like just beat the shit out of them and step on their nuts and stuff, and then they would like thank me and pay me afterward, that would actually be pretty cool. I could do that.
She wasn't so much playing roles. She didn't do what she was is that she was she's kind of disconnected from it.
Right.
She can compartmentalize everything. And she says some crazy shit. She realized that when she became an escort, she's real pretty. She looked like Liv Taylor. Her name is Aella. It's Aella. You guys can look at her. She's been on fucking a bunch of talk shows and shit. And she left a Christian cult. And she said because what she learned, the behaviors that she learned in a Christian cult actually helped her be in
Yeah,
the
that's
sex
what we
industry,
were talking about.
which is some weird shit.
That makes total sense, though.
She started off as a cam girl and then got burned out on it and tried escorting. She liked escorting a lot better because it was personal, like one-on-one relationship kind of contact with these people. And she couldn't really have real relationships with boyfriends per se. She's kind of pansexual in a way. What they call it? Poly. She's
Polyamorous.
Polyamory. So her boyfriends just kind of came and went. And she used escorting as kind of like a kink. That she couldn't really control who the guy was as long as he passed her background checks and was paying. And she's expensive. She was like $2,600 an hour for the first hour and $1,200 an hour after that.
Man, that's pretty sweet.
Fucking that's what she was making. And she started off cheap, but she said that she had to work more and the dudes were shittier. So she just started raising the price and the guys became more innocuous
Yeah,
and more
because that's
innocuous.
the thing. If you charge
Yeah.
like not that much money, then people perceive you as like
Yeah.
yeah.
So she got rid of all the fucking little guys and all ends up with these dudes who are 65, business owners, wife haven't fucked him in 10 years, and they're not really players at all. They're, fucking Magoo. Basically she's dealing with Magoo. And she twisted her mind around to where she could fucking get off on how ugly and old the motherfucker was. And how wrong it was. Like, how
Right.
the physical difference, it became like a kink to her. But she, because the guys that paid more money tended to be nicer and more harmless. And she said that you get those because when the price goes up, the guys who are more bashful and more successful see, well, she's not desperate. She must be a good person.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
So they start preferring her. And she goes to fucking on tour in Europe, makes $1 million in a month, and then comes back out because she's booked all these dudes.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's not poor. She's very rich. She's probably one of the richest hookers in existence. And she's not even 30 yet. She is very intelligent, but she's crazy too. If you ask me, she's kind of crazy.
We all crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. But she wasn't playing roles. What it was is that she was very naturalistic, and whatever the dude was doing, she kind of had empathy for that guy in a certain way. But then, as soon as the experience is over, it's like in a compartment, and she would write down everything about that client, what they did,
Yeah.
and who orgasmed or didn't orgasm. So she keeps a file on all these dudes. So it's
Well,
all
that's a
repeat-
good idea.
It's all
because,
repeat customers.
yeah. Then you know
Yeah.
like all of their
Right.
shit. Like you have
Right,
to
yeah.
keep.
So
tabs on
they're
that.
whales, basically. They spend fucking 10 grand on her. You know, basically.
Well, and you said sometimes they'd pay for her to like hang out with them for like a week. Or
Yeah, for like a
something
week.
that.
Yeah, like
which, like I said,
20...
to me that sounds like exhausting.
Yeah, she says all of her clients are unattractive, but she does like them.
Yeah.
If she doesn't like them, she doesn't go back to them.
Right.
Because she's not desperate.
She can pick and choose.
She can pick and choose. Yeah.
I mean, the ones with money that are like nice to her.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I just it takes a different kind of person than me to do that kind of stuff, because I just wouldn't be good, especially one that was, you know, like a week long. I said, because it's like, it's bad enough that I don't have like a lot of patience, like I said, and if like a person annoys me, I'm not gonna like put up with it for very long. Yeah. So I don't know. I couldn't pretend to like that person for like an hour, much less a week.
She's got a Twitter, and her friends of hers who are also fucking escorts will post fucking memes kind of poking fun at their clients. And when you see the type of client that it is, you're like, yeah, that is kind of fucking pitiful. A younger woman has to pretend to be interested in these dudes. Like they're interesting. They're not. They're boring. Boring dudes.
Well, and I wonder if deep down, like, the dudes have to know that, right?
Yeah, they know it. They know. But, well, it's fantasy.
Right.
It's fantasy. Sex drive for a guy is always the same pretty much throughout his whole life. It just kind of slows down after 50, but it's still about the same. For a guy, the sex drive is like hunger, really, more than anything else. It's just a biological drive. It's hormonally based. For women, sex isn't really like that. It's more like a mood, you know. And it's cyclical.
More complicated.
It's a lot more complicated. It's cyclical. And as women age, it changes a lot. So they're not quite as driven after, 50 or so. The man keeps on going. So it's just that his refractory period and his regeneration period isn't quite as short as it was when he was younger, but it's still there. Just like you're always going to be hungry for food when you get hungry. It's just the same thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's, we're a lot more.
But she's interesting person. She's crazy though. But she's smart enough to know what she gave up for all this. She says, like, I know the deal. She's like, I'm going to be poly basically for the rest of my life. I will probably die alone as an old lady. Says I'll probably never get married because the guys that I would marry would not marry me.
Right.
That's what she said. She says, but I don't really. She says, like, but I'm not really big into marriage. I think marriage is not really necessary unless you're real old and you need a partner. Basically, that's what she said. So there's some logic to what she's saying, but it's very Aspergerish. You know what I mean? She's not.
Well, she's
really emotional. She's almost like male thinking. She's
she's
male.
looking at things just from a pragmatic standpoint. Like I said, I kind of look at things like that as well. So I get it.
She's very male.
I get where she's coming from.
Kind of a male strategy type.
Like, you feel emotions and stuff, but
they don't quite affect you the same way.
Right. It's just kind of like everything is just sort of like pragmatic concerns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to like weigh all these options. Well, if I do this or if I do that, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. And the way that I haven't seen her, but the way that you talked about her, she does sound like she has her shit together.
I thought I showed it to her. Showed her to you.
No, we were just talking about it.
I guess
we were just talking about it in the car. Remember, like on the way back from.
Okay. I thought I showed it
from Koi Wan or whatever. Because I got like momentarily like all excited. I was like, oh man, maybe we should start a business where I step on dudes' balls and stuff. It's better than having like a 9-to-5 job, right? Well, like I said, if they oh yeah, okay. If they legit like paid me to like be mean to them, yeah, I could totally do that.
That's her.
I don't want to fuck them or nothing though.
Yeah, you couldn't escort.
No. That's what I mean.
I wouldn't let you.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that anyway. Like I said, that's not my thing. Yeah. But like I said, if dudes like just want me like to pay me like to kick him in the nuts, I can do that.
Well, but we have a background in the fetish scene. We know all kinds of fetish people. That shit's just fantasy. It's not real sex.
Right. That's what I'm
She
saying.
wants
So
to
I
get beat
so
up.
I could do that.
Yeah,
like I could
I
just
could, yeah.
I could just like I said, put
Yeah.
a leash on a dude, make him eat like clean the
Yeah,
toilet
dog
with his tongue
bowl.
or something like that.
Not tell him what a fucking simp he is. Fucking
Right.
he ain't packing nothing. He's hung like a fucking chipmunk. Dude, man, you no wonder. Dude, look at you.
See, I could do that. Well, because remember when I think we were talking about this the other day, where we came across that whole subgenre of porn that was just like, like just women in high heels like stepping on dudes' nuts.
Yeah, that was fucking very difficult for me to fucking.
And like Tom couldn't watch
I was
it,
like,
and I
oh.
thought it was hilarious. I just like laughed, and I was like, let's watch another one.
Dude, okay, look. Dude was laying on his back.
So funny.
He had his junk going through a hole in a board.
Yeah,
Board was about a
that's the one
2
I'm thinking of.
2 by 2 foot. And this hot chick with these fucking just wicked looking fucking stiletto heels, and she's just fucking stepping on his nut, on his testicle.
Yeah.
I'm going, no,
Man, she was getting in
and,
there
yeah,
too.
yeah, and fucking stepping on him and shit.
And I was like, damn, look at that. I was like, are they gonna burst? I'm like
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah, and Jenny's laughing, and I barely like.
And that made me
hide my
laugh
eyes and
even.
shit.
That made me laugh even harder. That
Yeah.
you were like getting like really, you were squirming.
Another one that was making me fucking crawl up the fucking wall. She had this German porn star fucking lover. She's fucking skinny, fucking giant fucking implants, these huge fucking rings. Fucking, she's pierced, fucking pierced labia. These fucking huge rings.
Oh,
like,
I know what one you're
big
talking
around
about.
as the fucking top of a fucking soda can. She takes this fucking metal sounding rod and goes down her boyfriend's fucking urethra.
Yeah, I remember
and
that
I
one.
just fucking every fucking hair on the fucking top of my fucking head. And she's saying German shit to him. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's fine as hell, torturing this dude. And he's just, I don't even know what that feels like. I don't know what that. I don't want to know what that feels like. I just imagine that shit must hurt. I imagine that shit must fucking hurt. It
Yeah,
looked like
that's
it
a
fucking
pretty.
hurt.
I mean, sounding. I don't think that's all that widespread. When I
man.
sold sex toys online, like I sold a couple of those kits, but not a lot.
Ooh, man.
Not a lot.
I was worn out by that. Jenny sitting lying next to me laughing her ass off. I'm like, oh.
I might be a little bit sadistic. I'm not actually sure. I enjoy watching dudes get punished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, shit, we got
It's
all,
very funny to me.
We got all the fucking audio, visual, and graphic design technology. We'll set you up as a dominatrix. That could be your fucking security. We gonna fucking torture these fucking.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you ready? All right, we're gonna do it.
Easy. Okay.
Put that shit up on Trist.
We want some people that are gonna pay now because I don't
Yeah,
want to
no.
have to. I don't want to have
Oh,
to
no.
work all the time.
Oh,
I
no.
just want to like you know.
Oh no, we give it like a fucking 2-hour session. That shit's gonna be fucking $1,000 at least.
I mean, you know, I want to just do
Yeah,
like a
it's
couple
like it.
sessions and like
Yeah.
be able to pay my shit
Yeah.
like for a week.
Well, you can't be desperate.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're gonna go do this shit, fucking, it's gonna be a couple grand.
You said I need to
It's
go.
just side money.
Yeah.
But
I
fucking-
need to go to like dominatrix school.
Well,
I need to learn to be
well,
like.
we know
much,
all the people for that.
Yeah, I know.
We
I
got
need
'em on our
I need
friends
to learn
list.
to be much.
They just teach you to
much
fucking be a
meaner.
dominatrix. You got the outfits already.
That's true. I do have a lot of
Yeah.
outfits already.
And you already got security, so. And I can help.
Yeah.
Tie that bitch up. Beat him up. Fucking drag the gimp out. Bring out the gimp. I got the gimp right here. I got the gimp right here.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah. No problem. I can handle that.
Okay.
We've been to all the fucking fetish shows, know all the fucking people. Thing is they'd probably be our friends. They
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
like,
the money,
hey, I
though.
know you. Well, yeah.
Hey, we know you.
Yeah, it's kind of a small community, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's. I'm just thinking that's like a new.
Yeah.
That's like a new
Yeah. We have to
career
We're
path.
gonna have to get you a fucking dominatrix name.
Yeah, I'll think of something cool.
Well, you
I'll
already
think-
had Mistress.
Yeah, he can't think of anything. He can't think of anything.
Something to do with books. Mistress
Because
Biblioteca.
I'm such a nerd.
Yeah, that's how the.
That's okay. I'm not ashamed of being a nerd.
Mistress Icicle. That's probably fucking taken up.
I don't like that anyway.
Okay.
It's too long.
Okay.
And I feel like people don't know how to spell it or even
Yeah,
say
no,
it.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? You have to dumb everything down because people are idiots.
We're gonna get you the big fucking dominatrix hair, like from the '80s. Now they had the fucking big hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the extensions and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because I can tease this shit, but
Yeah.
it needs more volume.
Yeah.
I was thinking about teasing it tonight if we went out, but
Yeah.
I really like my hair teased. Like, I like the way it looks. But then, like, and I always go out and I'm like, man, my hair looks amazing. But then, like, the next day I'm always like, why did I do this? Why? Because it's like, then it's just all knots. Because my hair, like, knots up even without me teasing it. Like, all I have to do is kind of go like that and it just knots up. So.
Look at the Victor said.
Where is it? I'd hire Jenny to be my Zoom dominatrix. She would yell at me to do my taxes and get my truck's registration done already.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a whole side thing. I could do shit over fucking Zoom.
Yeah.
And I could just
Jenny
yell
asks
at
you
people.
to pull it out and go, that is so fucking pathetic. That is so fucking pathetic. I jump out and she goes, this is a real man. Then if I pull that shit out of it.
See, this sounds like super fun. This is like something I could do. Because I could just be like, well, I don't. The thing about it is that I don't. I feel like, look, I'm a nice person. Right? Well, kind of. But I kind of feel like I'm like, I don't know, like I'm a low-key asshole, but I don't really get to be an asshole because I don't really like confrontation, so I don't really want to be like an asshole to people's faces, unless I'm like drunk, and then I will, but you know what I mean? So I kind of feel like doing that would be like a good outlet for me, because I would get to just be like a complete twant and like not get paid for it and get like rewarded. So it'd be like win-win. You know what I mean?
You gotta get over fucking, gotta get over your feel of body fluids, because you're gonna be fucking spitting on people.
That's true.
Probably pissing on people too. Make
Well,
them drink it. Here, you drink that.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, they do that kind of shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could have parameters too,
Yeah,
because some people don't really like that.
do.
Seriously, I was reading. Now I'm probably gonna make myself gag saying this, but I was reading, and maybe like I don't know about this weekend, but I might put up another book review. But I actually ended up reading 2 novellas because I didn't know there were novellas when I first started reading them, so they were like really short. And the one that I read yesterday, like on my lunch hour, it was one of those extreme novels, which I didn't really know. I just picked it at random. And yeah, there was a scene in there with some vomit that I was not expecting, and I was like, and I was just like that the whole lunch hour. So, you know, there's some gross shit in there. It wasn't the worst thing I ever read. I mean, I've read way worse than that, but it was still pretty gross. Zach says there's a Finnish movie that came out a few years ago. It's about a dominatrix, and it's basically the chick from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is one. It looks awesome. Ooh, I might need to watch that. Get some pointers.
Was that Hugo talking about? Hugo says, "Oh yes, Pliskin shirt."
Yeah, I wrote it down. Look,
Okay.
Pliskin shirt large.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty sure we have large. I always buy like a lot of
I think I got a large in there.
large. We usually run out of mediums first because I buy a lot of mediums, but Tom usually uses them all.
I
Because,
use not all of them.
but a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I'm usually short on mediums, but we should have. I think we have some larges though. So we could print that out
Get
later.
your Pliskin shirt.
Yeah. But yeah. So what time is it? Oh, holy shit! It's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think it's called Dogs Don't Wear Pants. Oh, that's on Shudder, or it was. I don't know if it's still on there, but I remember seeing. I didn't watch it, but I remember seeing it on there a while back. So I might have to watch that now. Like the trailer did look kind of cool when I watched it a long time ago. I didn't realize it was about a dominatrix, and now I'm really gonna have to watch it. They make some weird movies over there in Europe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You ready to?
Yeah. I'm slowing
Wrap
down.
it up. You
Slow
seem
down.
like you're spacing out a little
Spacing
bit.
out, the alcohol is getting me.
Yeah. I was just thinking about getting another one though.
There's more.
Oh, I know there's more. There's always
There's
more.
always more for you, little girl.
Uh-oh, it's getting weird.
Daddy's gonna hook you right up.
All right. I can't believe it's almost 10 o'clock. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Victor said if y'all watched Piggy yet, that was good. No, I haven't watched that yet. Zach says I love Finnish people. They're like European hillbillies and they're hilarious.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of stories about the Finns.
Have you really?
Yeah. Some of the programs I listen to fucking talk about Finland a lot. One of the guys, his name is Dr. Professor or something or other. Fucking I forgot his name, but he lives in Finland. He's a British guy living in Finland. And he always makes comments about how he can go to Finland and he'd be the life of the party. because Finns are so kind of reserved, and they're kind of, and they kind of emulate everything from the outside world. Like they fucking really like emulate PC type stuff, even though it's like an all white country and they have no idea what they're fucking talking about. They just try to be like everybody else, even though they're nothing like everybody else. You know, they're Finns and they're all Finnish and they're very uniform, very kind of, what do you call it, homogeneous, but they don't really want to be. They
well, I
kind of like the
that,
white version of the Japanese,
because it's like boring. You know?
Yeah, they're boring. They're kind of like the white version of Japanese people.
So it's like they're like, what I want to be.
Like,
I don't want to be the same as everyone else.
Right,
I want to be different. T says, "Are you going to make tank tops for women?" We can.
Oh, yeah, I got them.
I can do anything you want, like just as long as I have like some lead time, because I order blanks from. I don't know if I have any tank tops in there right now, but I have ordered them from. We get our blank shirts from Jiffy Shirts.
And there's a couple different tanks we can use. We got some girl tanks. I got guy tanks. I may have to order
like that
those.
One.
Yeah, like this one. And it depends on exactly what you want, but we got tanks. I mean, what are you trying to achieve? I mean, if you're trying to achieve something, then. You know, fucking. I can make sure that it happens. Is what I'm trying to say.
Because Jiffy Shirts, that's where I get, and they have all different like cuts.
Yeah.
So if you want like something specific, as long as you give me enough time, like you let me know. Like I said, you want a scoop neck, you want a V-neck, you want a long sleeves, you want a hoodie, you want like you know,
you want
I can
a half shirt just with your titties.
Yeah, I can get like pretty much anything you want. They have like a whole bunch of different, even if you want a different color or something like that. Like they have a million different things to pick from. So as long as I have like lead time, I can figure out, you know, like what you want and I can get it. It just might take a little while. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
Because it's 10 o'clock. So Sunday we'll probably do a movie review. Are we gonna do King of New York? Because Xanada sent us King of New York, so we're gonna watch that probably tomorrow night or later tonight, or I don't know. And we'll talk about that on Sunday. So hopefully you guys can come by and hang out with us then. So what?
Tammy said no half shirts. She's afraid that belly's gonna pop out.
I mean, you know.
Okay.
I just got a really cool, I should have worn it, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I got a really cool, it's kind of like a half hoodie of Opera, the Dario Argento movie. It's like long sleeved, but the shoulders are cut out, and it's got like chains, you know,
it's
like
cool
a hood and everything. Yeah, it's super cool.
It's cool.
And it has, if you've seen like the poster for the Dario Argento movie Opera, which came out in 1987, it has like the girl with the pins like taped under her eyes, like to keep her eyes open. And so it's got that on it, but... Maybe I'll wear it Sunday or whatever so everybody can see it because it is like really cool looking. I tried it on. But yeah, so we will see you guys on Sunday. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for super chats and all of that. And we'll see you then.